Hi, a very warm welcome everyone. So I hope a very good afternoon everyone. So I hope my voice is audible to everyone. A very warm welcome to our second session on internship project development. We'll be having a lot of great stuff today, like understanding what is our project objectives, how we are going to plan for the project, what and how we are going to design the systems, along with practical implementations of configurations of the softwares required for our project development of government application for preparation. So, a very good evening, everyone. As I can see, hi, hello everyone. Hi Minakshi, hi Ankit, hi Shilpi, Weber, hello, hi Viraj, Manzar, hello. A very good afternoon, very good evening. Yeah. So I believe in the previous session, we all had certain discussions on how we get started with project development and how we ensure the quality of the project should be like it is satisfactory to the customer. And in order to develop a project like that, we need to follow Agile software development methodology. So we have understood the concepts of Agile in the previous session. There were four important things which we all need to always remember whenever we design a project. The first one was we need to have good team communication. We all should have discussions related to what tools we will be using for the project, what processes we are going to use for the project. So we will be having our today's discussion based on that. So today I'm going to introduce you with the server side configurations which we will be needing. So first we are going to set up Amazon Web Services. We are going to configure basic tools required on AWS server so that we will be able to deploy the models, views, and the controller on the server side. So we will be interacting about the processes and the tools we will be using. That is the first thing in the Agile model. Second, when it comes to Agile, we always have to work on working software rather than a detailed description of the project and whatever is required. So we will be building unit products in each session. So today I'm going to explain you the specific stages of the applications which are required, and for each stage of the application, which means for each page of the application, we have to design three parts. First, we have to design the model at the server side, followed by we have to design the controller logic, we have to design the user interfaces, the views, and we have to communicate both of them. So that we will be doing in. Followed by we will be designing unit softwares and we will be testing those unit softwares with automation testing tools so that we will be able to ensure that the project which we are designing are going to be the perfect projects and there will be no loopholes, there will be no bug when we will be producing it for production. प्रोडक्शन का मतलब होता है जब हम किसी भी एप्लीकेशन को कंज्यूमर को देते हैं और कंज्यूमर को यूज करने के लिए वो एप्लीकेशन रेडी होती है, उसे हम प्रोडक्शन बोलते हैं. So when we have to design a project, we have to take it from the development stage to the production stage. So उसके लिए क्या measures हैं, कैसे हम testing processes follow करते हैं. We are going to perform all these things practically. We will be using tools like application test करने के लिए हम Appium use करते हैं, मोबाइल फ़ोन की apps test करने के लिए. सर्वर साइड पे जो हमारी एप्लीकेशंस होती हैं, वेब एप्लीकेशंस, उनको यूज़ करने के लिए हम सेलेनियम के टेस्ट यूज़ कर सकते हैं. अलॉन्ग विद लोड रनर्स टेस्ट किए जाते हैं सो एज टू इंश्योर कि आपकी एप्लीकेशन मिलियंस ऑफ यूजर्स का लोड हैंडल कर सकती हैं. सो वी विल बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑल दैट स्टफ. थर्ड चीज जो मैंने आपको बताई थी, दैट वाज रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू चेंजेस, व्हिच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन एजाइल. Whenever the consumer needs to have a change, we should be ready to do it. And finally, we should have customer interaction after contract negotiation. तो ये चार पॉइंट्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है जब भी हम कोई प्रोजेक्ट डेवलप करते हैं. ये जो चार पॉइंट्स हैं ये हमेशा हमें अपने माइंड में रखने होते हैं इन द ओवरऑल प्रोजेक्ट डेवलपमेंट जर्नी. इसका बेनिफिट ये होता है कि जब आप प्रोजेक्ट स्टार्ट करते हैं, स्टार्टिंग से लेके आप पूरी जर्नी अपनी प्रोजेक्ट डेवलपमेंट की एंजॉय करते हैं, एंड फाइनली जब आप अपनी पूरी प्रोजेक्ट डेवलपमेंट जर्नी एंजॉय करके फाइनल प्रोडक्ट प्रोडक्शन के लिए रिलीज करते हैं, वो प्रोडक्ट कंज्यूमर के लिए बहुत सेटिस्फैक्ट्री होता है। अगर हम ये इंश्योर कर लेंगे तो जो भी हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स बनेंगे, जो भी हमारे प्रोजेक्ट्स बनेंगे, वो हम कम टाइम में डिज़ाइन कर पाएंगे और इनफैक्ट अच्छे प्रोजेक्ट्स डिज़ाइन कर पाएंगे जो कि कंज्यूमर्स के लिए सेटिस्फैक्ट्री होंगे। ओके, सो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द ऑब्जेक्टिव। सो मेजर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स आज के हमारे क्या हैं? पहले तो हमें प्रोजेक्ट प्लानिंग करनी है, हम सिस्टम डिज़ाइन करेंगे। सिस्टम डिज़ाइन का मतलब है कि हम अपने पूरे प्रोजेक्ट का एक फ्लो डायग्राम बनाते हैं। सबसे पहला हम डॉकर यूज करके माइंड मैप क्रिएट करते हैं। उस माइंड मैप के बाद में पर्टिकुलर स्टेज को हम लेके उसका एक सिस्टम फ्लो डायग्राम डिजाइन करते हैं। कैसे हम डिजाइन करते हैं वो फ्लो डायग्राम्स? रफ डायग्राम्स हो सकते हैं, आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए होते हैं रफ डायग्राम्स। रफ डायग्राम्स बनाने के बाद में फिर हम अपना सर्वर सेटअप करते हैं, अपनी एप्लीकेशंस को, जो टूल्स हमें रिक्वायर्ड हैं वो हम सेटअप करते हैं, एंड पोस्ट दैट फिर हम इंटीग्रेशंस करते हैं अपने एप्लीकेशंस के। ओके, ओके, so sir, can your voice sound level be raised to a higher note? So I'm trying to speak like very loud. I guess you need to check with your mic, with your audio. And yes, I'll try to convey the messages both in English as well as in Hindi, because there are certain audience who does not understand English and there are certain audience who does not understand Hindi. So I'll try to converse in both the languages. Okay. So the 4 important objectives we will be keeping in our mind. The first objective will be, we will be using Agile development methodology to design our project. There are 4 important points for that. The 4 important points I would like to share with all of you, which I have already discussed in the previous session, but just to give you guys a quick glimpse of from where we have ended in the previous session, we'll be continuing from there. So now here we have, here. So here are the 4 important Agile methodologies which we have to use: team communication and interactions over processes and tools, working software over rigorous documentation, and we have to design this working software on the basis of model, views, and controller. And today I'm going to make you understand how we are going to set up the models, views, and controllers on our AWS server, and how we are going to set up the development environment. Followed by, we have to respond to the changes, whatever changes the consumer needs, we need to work out on that. And finally, we have to have our customer available in the complete product development journey, and you can call that point as customer collaboration after contract negotiation. So these are the 4 important points. So guys, let's go for it. Let's get started. Previously, I have already shared the mind maps with all my participants, those who are connected with me. Again, I would like to share the link to the doubts application mind map files. So guys, you all have to access this resource. I'm sharing that on the chat so that you all can open this card. Yeah, yes, Manzar Sahil is asking, sir, are we going to use AWS today? Yes, we will be using AWS today. And guys, I would also like to share 2 more resources, which I have sent via SMS also to all the participants as well as via emails. There are certain prerequisites for the sessions, which again, I'm sharing with all of you, so that in case if anything is not clear, what you guys can do, you can watch this complete session along with me, try to implement each step with me. I will be covering all the steps which are available in the prerequisite videos, but still I would suggest to go to the videos and go through the prerequisites video after the session, so that things will be pretty clear to you. Okay, now let's see. So I have shared the link for this Trello card on the comments. So I would like you all to quickly open this. Okay. And this card is my resources of live discussion and live internship projects link. I'm sharing that with all of you. Okay. So under this, what we will be having, the first important thing which we all need to have is the doubts application mind map file. Okay. So I'm just quickly sharing the link with all the participants for the mind map. We are going to have a quick discussion on the mind map, and followed by, we will quickly switch to the system design, that how we design the project, how we make the system design, and then how we proceed step by step. So there is a question, sir, do we need a Linux OS? So for today, you can use any of the OS. If you are having Windows operating system, I'm going to demonstrate for Windows OS as well. If you are having Linux or Mac OS, the process will be pretty same for both Mac and Linux. So I'm going to demonstrate that also. Since 97-98% of the users are of Windows users, so I will be defining all the methods and tools which we can use in Windows, as well as whatever we can use with Mac OS and Linux OS. Okay. So OS won't be a problem, but once our server is set up, there we will be setting up a Linux server, and we have to understand some of the basic commands. So I'm going to explain that also. So yeah. So for creating a Kali Linux image on AWS, do we need a Linux OS? I have made my free AWS account. Great, Sairam. Yes, we do need. We will be taking a Kali Linux OS over which we will be deploying our project. And I would like to, I will be explaining each and everything step by step. So even if there is a beginner, so there won't be any problem for him also. He also will be able to perform the steps along with me. Moreover, for setting up of AWS, I'm going to give a quick demonstration of setting up of AWS also. So I would like to confirm with all the participants, those who are currently watching, could you just comment on the chat to let me know how many of you have not set up the AWS? Or else those of you, those who have not done the setup of AWS, kindly comment on the chat so that I will get to know how many participants are there, and I'm going to discuss that part also quickly so that it will be clear to everyone. There is all link are available. You can, that link, yes. So all the links which we will be using will be available on this board, which is our resources of live discussion and live internship board. And the link of that board is here, which I'm sharing with all the participants. Karthik Sachdeva is asking, can we use XAMPP server for full stack instead of AWS? You can use XAMPP server, that won't be a problem. But once the major objective of designing a project is that we have to make that product accessible to the users in the world. So there is no point designing a project and keeping it on your own machine. Okay. Because there is a lot of difference when you make a project for your local machine and when you make a global product which will be used by millions and billions of users. So my idea in order to organize these live sessions is to let you all understand that how you can make global products. Okay, how you can make an application which can be available to several continents, which can be available to several countries, how people from different countries will be able to access the application, how your application will be able to handle that load. All those things we have to cover up here. So that's why I would like all the participants to have AWS account set up. Okay, so that would be great. Okay, fine. Okay, so there may be some participants, those who may be visiting this for the very first time. So for that participants, I would like to quickly share a link. The participants, those who are watching our session for the very first time, you all can register for this event, and there you will get to know about previous sessions which we have already conducted. Okay. Now let's see. So one thing which I would like to share with all the participants is I have shared a link to all the participants. Those who are new, they can quickly register and they will be able to access the previous sessions. Once they register on the event, they are going to get a link for one-to-one. Once they reach to one-to-one, they have to log in into their account. And once they log into their account, there is a module known as Start Here Live Classes. So you can quickly go to Start Here Live Classes. And in the live classes, we had 4 sessions up till yesterday: Introduction to Summer Training, Mobile App User Interface Designing, Introduction to Government Applications. So this was the first session which we have started. All the resources which were required for that session has already been added here. So you all can quickly download those resources also, which we have taken in the previous session. I'm just giving the zip link to all of you. You can quickly extract it and use it so that we can have the intact discussion. And this is our base class, project planning and system design. So that session is also being recorded, and you will be able to access that session also. Okay. Along with that, one more thing, since I'm into the account, I would like to share one more information with all the participants. In each account of summer interns, we have added few more programs for you all to understand well. We have added one program which you guys will be really benefited with is Amazon Solutions Architect Associate. It's a complete program with approximately 20-30 video sessions on Amazon AWS, where we have covered approximately all the important services required for product development. So you can explore this, as well as I have added a Microsoft certification section on your account. Okay. So under this Microsoft certification examinations, you're going to get 2 help. One, we have actually recorded our Microsoft examinations, which we have conducted for various courses like Python programming. We have a live examination session available over here. Along with the live examination session, I would like to quickly give you a grasp of that. So here we have actually covered all these topics which are very important in Python and how Microsoft conducts the examination. So you will get the complete idea of that how the user gets started with Microsoft examination. So we have done a live testing, and these exams are of 100 marks, in which our students have scored pretty great, pretty high marks, which is approximately 97 out of 100. So you can quickly go with this particular videos. So I have added that for 4 specific programs: Python. Along with Python for full stack, we have got that for HTML5, CSS3 live Microsoft examination. With each exam, you will get the preparation material also, where our mentors have dedicatedly discussed about each and every question and how to attempt that question and how you can score 100 or near above 95 plus marks in these Microsoft examinations. Okay. So we have added these sessions for you, in which we have Python. We have added for full stack development for HTML5 and CSS designing. Here, our mentor has scored approximately 85 marks in that. Then we have got practice sessions, practice questions for HTML Microsoft certificate examinations. Followed by, we have added for Java live Microsoft examination, where one of our mentor has scored 95 out of 100. And there are various sessions along with the students, and mostly these questions are pretty same in all the examinations. So once you learn these kinds of questions, you will be able to attempt the test, which we will be conducting on first and followed by on various days in this our internship. Along with, you will be able to directly attempt the Microsoft Technology Associate certifications also. Okay, and you can pass with more than 95-97%. So we have added that for Java. Along with, we have added that for cybersecurity also. So for all the major courses, Python, full stack web designing, Java programming, and ethical hacking and security. we have added Microsoft certifications preparation content for you. So guys, you all can quickly have access to that so as to prepare well for your exams as well as for your Microsoft certifications exams. As well as in the course dashboard, we have added Java programming also. In the coming sessions, we will be designing Android applications. And for those Android applications, you need to understand basics of Java. Very soon, in a couple of days, I will be adding an Android program here also, which can help you to understand how Android applications are also designed. Okay. So in the second part of our internship projects, so there are two parts. Let's say we have to work out for 2 weeks. So in the first week, we'll be working towards the server-side designing. In the second week, we will be working towards designing of the mobile applications. So you guys have to be pretty focused and you need to learn about Android also. So we will be adding it very shortly. So under the Java programming also, we have added a lot of sessions right from the very beginning. Introduction to Java, variables, data types, operators, do while. So you all will be able to access them in your account itself. And up to bitwise operators, we have uploaded the videos on YouTube, and other additional videos we are updating. So in a couple of days, you guys are going to access these videos also. So there will be approximately 30-40 sessions on Java also. And with each course at the end, we have specified the examination pattern, which is generally asked, the examination preparation questions, as well as the sample certificates which you get from Microsoft once you clear that examination. So if I show you one sample certificate, which you guys will get, just give me a moment. I'll just quickly get back here. Here. So somewhat like this, you guys are going to get the certifications. Okay, I hope the screen is visible to all the participants. So somewhat like this, Microsoft allots the certification like that. So you can take up an examination of 45 minutes in which approximately 30 to 40 questions will be asked, and you can grab the certification from Microsoft itself. The detail of the Microsoft certification examination, we have scheduled it on 4 different days. I am going to share the details with you guys very shortly. Okay. But since our today's session is the project discussion session, so I would like to keep my discussion over that. So here you will be having the preparation material and the new content which I have added for all of you under your internship. Now, let's see, I have got a few questions. Let's see. So do we have to complete all the courses available? It depends on you. But if you complete multiple programs, that will be pretty helpful for you. Then we have Surgeon test 1 June को है. Is it for Microsoft certification? No, जो 1 June को test है, that is the evaluation test of Hackveda. So उसके basis पे आपको Hackveda के certificates issue होंगे जो 1 June को evaluation है Python का. Okay. Then sir, is Flutter gonna be part of Android section? So we have approximately, we includes Flutter also. We have the series on Flutter also for cross platform designing of Android application. But initially we'll be covering on the native platform, which is the Java programming language, followed by the Kotlin. And then on the third part, we will be having the Flutter discussions. So we will be bringing that also to the platform. Then we have got this. How will we get to know about the test? So the test information will be specified to everybody. There is, I think I have informed everybody over the mails along with the evaluation test dates, but just for confirmation once, let me just quickly show you the training internship dates so that it's very clear to the new participants also, those who have just joined in. So we are having these 4 dates for evaluation tests. We are having Python on 1st June at 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and the tests will be available within your one-to-one account only. And how would they be available? They would be available in form of a link in your account. And let me just quickly show you how you will be able to access that. So under your one-to-one accounts, let's say for example, if I go to let's say Java programming, for this Java programming, the test is not active yet, but just a sample which I would like to show you. At the very bottom, you will be having your assessment test somewhat like that. Okay. So once you click over the assessment test, you will be redirected to your particular test page, and you will be able to attempt the test program. Okay. I believe I am audible. Okay, now, so now for the next part, thank you Mangesh Gupta for suggesting. So people, we have everything available on Hackveda one-to-one. So what you can do is you can register on the event, go back to Hackveda one-to-one, and just log into your account on one-to-one, and you will be able to access all that information. And if you guys have any queries, you can reach out to the website and post your queries, as well as from Monday to Saturday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. we are available for the queries also. So you can talk to us at that point of time, and we'll clear all your queries. So let's just quickly get back to the project development session, what we will be having. Now, so I have shared the resources with every participant, and we will start with the system design. Now, in order to get started with the system design, I have shared a doubts application mind map file with all of you. Okay, so you all have to reach out to this link. Let us just quickly go here. Reach out to this link. Okay. Once you guys reach out to the link here, now what we have to do, over this link in the previous session, I have shared a doubts application mind map file, which you guys have to download. And to open this, you need to have the software docker.exe. Okay. So using this program, you will be able to open the mind map, and you will be able to understand the objectives of our project. Now, we will be having approximately 6 pages on our project. And before I show the mind map to you, I would like to quickly show you the views so that everybody would again be clear about how many pages we would be designing at least for this particular project. So here is our blueprints for the project, which we have to get started. Okay. So everyone, those who is currently watching, just to tell you, this is a quick overview of what all we will be designing, because it will be very easy for you all to understand from the front end part first that what is our objective of designing the application. So I'm just giving you a quick brief of the front end, but actually we need to be working out towards the back end of the application first. Okay. So here on my board, the first thing which we have to do is we have to get started with the registration and the sign up process. Okay. So there will be 2 windows. Initially, as you all can see, first of all, what we guys need to do, we need to design a registration panel, and this registration panel would be having a few fields. The name field you will be having the email address field, and you will be having the mobile number field. Okay, along with the password with which you are going to sign up. There will be one specific information using which you will be able to view the password also. And we will be having certain validation icons. Once we have specified the appropriate name, email, and mobile number, we are going to get that validated, and the green checks would be available. Then we have a button on the user interface. So as soon as the user lands up, we are going to show him one page. It could be the login page, let's say, for the first, as soon as the user lands up to the application. First, we are going to ask him to log in into the application. But in case if he doesn't have this login information available with him, maybe he is the first time user. So what he will be able to do, he will be able to click on register now, and after clicking on register now, he will be redirected to this page. Okay. So I hope this is clear that in the first attempt, we will be having these two pages. Okay, so just to give it a little bit better clarity, I would like to keep login on one side and registration on other side. Now you might be asking, how will we be able to design these user interfaces? So we will be working out on designing of the user interfaces in the second part. I have also addressed one session, the second session which we have conducted in the live class was to give a quick idea of how the designing is done. But there were certain issues about the software tools for Windows operating system. So those users, those who will not be having Supernova Studio, which I will talk about in much detail in the upcoming sessions, what I will be doing is I will be designing these basic layouts, and I'm going to give the XML layouts to you. Okay, so you will be able to open that in Android Studio, and you will be able to modify that as per the requirements. And as soon as the Supernova Studio plugin is available for Windows, you will be able to transform any of your designs. Okay. Moreover, we will be working out on other tools also, which can help you perform the designing part. Okay. So now, just to give you all a very quick idea, once our application starts, we are going to have the first page is going to be the login page. In case if the user is not registered, we are going to direct him to the registration page. Okay. Now you might be thinking, let's say in case if we have these two pages, first will be the login page, second would be the registration page, how this registration and login is going to work. Okay. So in order to do that, I would like to make a few discussions with you before we proceed to the next part. And here, just give me a minute. Okay. So let's say I will be having these two parts, the login and the registration. Okay. Now, what we will be having on the other hand side, let's say on the other hand side, we will be having a server. This server is going to be an AWS server. Okay, let me just type it over here. It's going to be an AWS server, and I would like to keep the size to somewhat like, let's say 100, and that's going to be black in color. Okay, I think that would take a lot of time. It would be much better for me if I design it with this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have an AWS server, and let's just define it here, AWS server. Okay. Now, what we will be having at the very center, you would be having your internet available. Let's make a very bad cloud kind of symbol, just to give you a quick clarity that we will be working on an internet-based application. So once a user is going to log in, he is going to have a connection with the internet, and he is going to be connected with our AWS server. Now, over this AWS server, what we will be having the databases available over here. So for that, let me just quickly design a database also here. Let's say this is going to be our MySQL database that we will be using for login and other data storage operations. Okay. So AWS server will be having one thing I would like to do actually, which would give you more clarity. Somehow, the AWS server is going to be a complete entity. Okay. Let's draw it like that. And within that, we will be having an EC2 instance. We will be having an EC2 instance within that. Let me just draw it like this. We'll be having an EC2 instance. Within that EC2 instance, we will be having two applications. One is going to be an Apache application. Okay. And second, we would be having a MySQL database. So that would bring better quality, better understanding to you. So let's say at the very top, we will be having an AWS server, which we are going to create an account. Now after AWS server, we will be having an EC2 instance on AWS. What is that EC2 instance? I'm going to tell you. Okay, those who are new and those who have basic experience, both of you will be able to get to know about what we will be having. Then post that, we will be having an Apache server, okay, and we will be having the MySQL database. Now within Apache server, we could have we can run basically, first we will be taking the PHP as the programming language. So here you can have the PHP programming language, and this PHP would be connecting with your MySQL programs. So here we're going to have a login table, and this login table will help us in both login and registration. Okay, so let's say once the user is going to perform login, so we will be sending a request to him, let's say on AWS, followed by AWS is going to receive the request over the EC2 instance in his internal private network. Okay, then EC2 instance is going to send the request to the Apache server. Apache server is going to communicate to the PHP. PHP is going to communicate to MySQL engine. MySQL will communicate to the login table, and similarly, you are going to get a response. Okay, so similarly, we are going to have a response like that. Let's say I'm going to define it somewhat like this. So we are going to have a response, and this response will be reflected back to that guy whether his login is successful or not. Okay. So this is going to be a very simple process. The login and the registration process is going to be very simple, and similarly, you all will be having the registration process very similar to this way. And we will be authenticating, or let's say once we are going to register a new customer, we will be saving his information on the login database. Now, in the login database, what all we need to save? So as you all can see here, if I can quickly show you, in the login database, for let's say for registration, you guys need 4 important information. You need to have the name of the user, the email address, the mobile number, and the password. These should be 4 important things which should definitely be available in the column. So let's say we can have a unique ID for the user, we can have the name of the user, we can have an email ID which could be the primary key, so that we cannot have duplicate users. So we can have either the email ID as the primary key, or else you can have mobile number as the primary key, as well as we'll be having a password kind of information. Post that, for 2-factor authentication, we can have features like OTP, which can be pretty helpful for identification of the user and authenticating him. So these could be certain information which we can keep it on our first app. So we will be able to take the registration, we'll be able to store the information. Once the registration is done, we also will be able to perform the same steps with the login form also. Okay, so in the login, we are going to define the email, we are going to define the password, we are going to send a request to our server side. The server is going to validate that, and we are going to get the success result. Okay, so this is something which is your first, you can consider. These are going to be your 2 important steps for level 1 and level 2. Okay. So here we will be having these 2 forms which you guys will be taking in for the first part, first and 2, 1 and 2. Okay. Now, once we guys are done with that, let me just clear that statement. So, okay, before I proceed further, I have asked how many of you have got AWS server setup. I have shared a link in the chat also, in order to make you guys understand that from where you can quickly get setup of AWS. I have 2 sessions recorded on how to create the AWS server and how to quickly access it. I'm just sharing the follow-up resource material again with all of you, so that you guys will be able to access that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so Amrita Avasthi, yes, definitely I'm going to let you all know the complete list of the tools, and I'm going to define that just now, that what all tools we will be using for the server side as well as for the client side. Okay, So you guys don't need to worry at all. And even in case if there is anything which is not available, I'm going to share that. Okay. So anyone else? Should we set up the Linux server or do it with you? Manzar Sahil, if you want to continue the setup, you can do that. That won't be a problem. But if you want to do that with me, you can do that. That would work. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. So I have quickly checked the questions, and now let's just quickly get back to the designing. So these are first and second stage, which we have to take up. Now, once we guys are done with these particular steps, what all we will be needing next? So we would be needing, okay, let me just clear that. Okay. So first and second part, you guys are done with that we will be having the login and the registration page. Okay. Second, what we will be having. Then we will start with our main application. Now, when it comes to this main application, all these applications are also going to be connected with our database, okay, and they will be connected with our server. So how many specific user interfaces we do have in the project? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So approximately 8 activities we do have here, and 2 were for login and registration. So in this project, we will be having approximately total number of pages for users. We actually call them as activities in Android. Okay. But just for users, those who are new, so I have used the term pages. So total number of pages would be approximately 10 in this project. Okay. And after login and registration, what would be the other pages which will be created? So let me just quickly tell you that also. Okay. So first, once the user logs in to the project, we will be having a home facility available. In the home, what we will be having here. So at the very top, first we will be having the name of the application. We'll be having a hamburger icon. We will be having a navigation drawer using which we will be having certain quick options to navigate within the application. There will be 3 major sections of the application. One will be the home section, second will be the ask doubts section, and third will be my doubts section. So this is going to be a sliding tab layout. You can quickly click on individual tab and the tab will switch. So the views of individual tabs which would be available on home, ask doubt, and my doubts are displayed to you. So what do we have here? Once somebody will click on home, he will be on this window. Within home, what we are having, this home would be like a promotional page for the user where offers of that particular institute or the company would be available. Okay. So let's say in case if there is a poster from Career Bill app for mathematics special for a specific user along with some course fees and something like that. So that image is going to be available. Okay, so अब मैं आपको यहाँ पे कुछ important चीजें हैं जो पहले हमें यहाँ पे identify करनी पड़ेंगी. Here you have 3 important things which you guys need to cover up. First, you need to handle the images with the databases. So how images will be transmitting from local mobile phones to the server side and then from the server side back to the clients, that we have to manage. Along with that, we have certain text-based information which would be available. So we will be having certain text for that particular post along with the date when the text was posted. There would be a feature of some important notice which could be specified. Then we will be having a like segment where we are going to handle the likes, that how many people have liked that particular page. Then we will be having a comments section also. Once we click on comments, we will be redirected to a page where all the people, those who have been commenting, will be available and their comments will be displayed. Along with that, we will be having certain buttons like sharing buttons in which we can click on WhatsApp button and quickly speak to the company, or else we have the share button also in order to share this post with others on WhatsApp and other social media handles. Okay. So similarly, there will be multiple UIs available. So you have to learn about how we will be using images, how we will be transmitting data through text and various other stuff. Okay. Followed by, this is going to be our Ask Doubts section. This is similar to a Facebook kind of profile where a user's profile will be available. Post login, we have to identify his profile based information. We will be asking him to post the questions, along with he can take the camera screenshots of his errors or doubts in case if he is studying, because this is with respect to SSC. So it may be possible a person is preparing using a pen and paper. So in case if he has a question or a doubt, he can quickly take a snapshot of that also, and he can quickly post it. Okay. So once you post to the doubts application, the company would be responding to these doubts, as well as there will be additional people, let's say other participants, those who have already studied about that concept, they will also be communicating about it. Okay. Now, what kind of questions would be there on this application? These questions will be approximately of different categories. So we should be having mathematical questions. Now, mathematical questions will have certain images like graphs. They may be having various shapes like rectangular, and there could be geometrical questions. So a lot of things would be there. There could be mathematical equations. So how we will be handling all that different kind of data at the server side, that is a big challenge which we have to understand. Okay. Post that, we will be having data for English. Handling English is easy, that won't be a problem. But one more challenge within this application is this application should be comfortable for all the users of English as well as Hindi, let's say, because the target audience of this company is the people who are staying in, let's say, Rajasthan, Haryana, and upper northern region of India. Okay. The people, those who are comfortable with either English or Hindi language. So the company is targeting to those clients. So we have to make the application working in both the ways, that how the English information and Hindi information will be displayed. Okay. So just to quickly give you a pattern, or just to quickly show you what kind of things in English and Hindi would be there, I have an example over here. Just let me just give that example to you. Okay, so at the very end, we have an example over here. So you all can see that here. Let's say, so suppose we have a question somewhat like that, or there could be some quiz like that. So information would be available in both the parts. It would be available in English. It would be available in Hindi also. Okay. Now, one thing we have to work out here, there should be possibility to add on more languages also. Okay, let's say in case if we want to expand this application for southern India also, then we need to have support for different languages like Tamil, Telugu, and various other languages. Okay, so Marathi and all that. So how that can be done, that could be a matter of concern for future aspects, as well as we can individually work out on that concept also, so as to make our application supporting all the locales. Okay. Now let's see. So we'll be working out on that part also, that how these things can be actually done, how you can make an application which can support different kinds of audience. Okay. So now something you guys need to understand would be, for let's say Ask Doubts, you will be having a separate database where the questions would be stored for a specific particular user, that there should be category kind of information or column in the database, so that we can distinguish between different types of questions, like is a question is from mathematics or is from English, reasoning, or general science, like that. Then there should be a collection of all the questions which that particular user has asked. So what do we need to do? We need to have a unique table for the user, where we will be hosting his questions. Okay. So we have to work out on all that part. And we will be able to work out on these parts pretty well only when we will be able to make the system designs well. If we will be able to make the database structure or the schema of the database very strong, then the application is going to be very strong, and it's going to be fast also. So we have to think of all those things while designing the application. Okay. So this project is going to give you a very broad idea about everything, like the server side application, the mobile side of the application design, the connectivity of the design, and everything like that. Okay. Then let's say we will be having the post based information. So there would be a database where the posts will be fetched. the posts will be displayed, the image-based information would be displayed, and then there should be tables in the database where we should be maintaining the likes of every post. Okay, we should be maintaining the number of comments which are coming on each post, which is the correct answer, which is the incorrect answer, all that thing we have to maintain, along with the likes part again. So we have to maintain, as well as when a user is going to comment, he should be able to attach the attachments, he should be able to attach the video, he should be able to send his post. All these communications we have to maintain. Okay. So for every individual page, there will be certain connections to the databases. This application will be maintaining a local database in the mobile phone, as well as it will be having a centralized database on the AWS server. So whenever the internet is available, there will be a background sync between the server side and the client side, so that the latest data will always be available. Okay. So this is how we have to work out on this particular application. So what I will be doing, I will be taking each and every part. I'll be taking each phase first, and then we will be connecting it with the background databases, so that it will be very clear for all of us that how we are going to individually take units. Okay. So each 10 activities or 10 pages which I have shown you, they can be considered as an individual unit which we have to design. And in each of these units, there will be multiple subunits where every functionality could be considered as a subunit. Like posting a question could be one unit, filtering the topics could be second unit, catching out the doubts of an individual user can be considered as a third unit, third function. Then fourth function could be maintaining the information of the posts, while at what time it is posted, what was the text of that post, what was the image and all that. Okay. So there will be different types of functions which we have to define in each activity. So once we will be defining these basic units, we'll be able to perform automation testing over these, so that in case if we make a change at some X page, there should be no impact on the Y page. Okay. So we have to maintain all that stuff. So in order to maintain all that stuff, we will be starting from the very first part. The very first part would be our login and registration page, from where we will be starting in. In your full stack web development course, I have given you a basic idea of how login actually works with AWS databases. So it was a very basic start which I have already provided. So I recommend all the participants, those who will be watching full stack, those who are watching full stack should go there and watch out the sessions again. And those who are new, they should also go out to that particular one-to-one account to full stack web development. Just I'll tell you what I'm saying. So you all have to reach out to, not now, but once the session is over, you all can reach out to full stack website development under your one-to-one. And within that, we have on session number 3, we have create a sign up and login app, create a login app. So this will give you a quick idea about how things work. And we will be doing that here in the live session also. Okay. So let's go for it. Let's get started with let's get started with the information which we need for designing the project and the tools and everything which would be required. Okay. So since I was talking about the mind maps first, so I'll be coming to the mind map, but before that, we will be having certain things like the first step we will be having is set up the server side of application. Or let's say I'll do just one thing. Important tools required first. We are going to quickly discuss about it. Important required tools for this project. So there will be 2 types of tools which we would be needing. We will be having front-end tools and the back-end tools. Okay. So since we are designing the back-end part first, because using the model view architecture, it's always good to design the databases first and then the views and then the controller. So first we'll get started with the backend tools. For the backend tool, first thing which you guys need to do is create an account on AWS server. And I recommend that everybody should have an account on AWS server. Why I'm saying this is because you can also test your applications on your local machine, but really that won't be very helpful. Okay. It might be possible that you are done with testing of a sample project, but you are not going to be ready. You are not going to get ready for the corporates. Okay. So if you want to get ready for the corporates, this is the right time to get started with AWS server and everything. Even if you think like I'm in first year or second year and this could be very difficult for me maybe, or this could be I'm very new to this technology and will I be able to grasp it? So yes, you will be able to grasp it. These are very easy things, and these are the actual things which the developers do. And developers don't make complex things. They don't do complex things. They actually do very simple things. But they understand the importance of each and every feature or each and every activity which they perform, and they have their focus to integrate all their activities in order to come up with a nice product. So that's what you guys need to build up from this very early stage. Okay. So I recommend everybody to definitely have an account on AWS server. Okay. Now on AWS server, first we will be having this. Then within the AWS server, we will be designing certain part, like we will create an EC2 instance. Okay. So I'm going to show you how all these things can be done. You have to create an EC2 instance. So EC2 instance is nothing but it's a virtual machine, or you can also call it as a virtual server on cloud. Okay, and this is mostly required in all the big projects. So if you are creating any application, even if it's an Android application, if it involves internet based communication, if it involves communication of different people, uh, okay, so in that case you need to be communicating continuously with the client and the server, and with that the AWS services are one of the best services available in the world, and comparatively they have very low prices. Okay, so it's very good. So as of prices is concerned, initially it is going to charge only 2 rupees, and it's going to give you some access to, like, say 3 months to 6 months. And in case if you have a very basic usage, your usage can also extend up to 1 year also, in case if you have selected the appropriate free virtual server. So I'm going to tell you which server you all have to access, so that for a very longer duration of time you all will be able to use the AWS server free of cost. And in case once it is done, once it is over, you can withdraw the billing, you can create a new account, and you can get started with a new account also for free. So that won't be a problem. Payment won't be a problem with AWS. Okay. So we have got this. You have to create an account. You have to create an EC2 instance there. Then the third thing will be you have to set up an Apache server. Okay. We'll be having setting up of an Apache server, set up my SQL databases that is required. I'm going to tell you all these steps today, that how we are going to do that. Okay. Then we are going to install extensions to connect MySQL with PHP, okay, and Apache. So Apache and MySQL databases should be there. There should be something like setup PHP services. Okay, that is also required, as well as we will be having installation of the extensions. Okay. Then what we will be having, we will be set up FTP server. This FTP server will be very helpful for all of you, because once you have set up the FTP over there, you can quickly connect your IDE with the cloud-based server. So whatever changes you do it on your local machine, it will automatically be reflected on the cloud server. So maintenance of your application is going to be very, very easy. Okay, and you don't need to connect to your server again and again. So I'm going to teach you today how you can quickly set up your IDE, the development IDE, and how will you be connecting it to cloud, so that you will be performing changes on your local machine and everything will be automatically updated and synced with the cloud. Okay, so there will be no hassle of uploading it additionally and all that stuff. So you're going to get that today. Okay, so uh, we will be having this setup. Just a quick look to the questions in case if there is anything. Uh, so here, yeah, I will provide everything, whatever is required. Don't worry about any of the resources, any of the pages, whatever I will be designing, I will be sharing each and every stuff with you, so that you can take that stuff for that duration and implement the stuff with me. And then later you will be able to code it again. So that won't be a problem. Okay. So Yeah, you can delete your account Sairam in case if they have charge, and no charge will be done. Don't worry about this. Will you teach PHP in the session? Yes, we will be training you about the PHP programming as well for the backend part. And once we are done with that project, we'll be taking up multiple. We'll be taking up Django. We'll be taking up Node.js. So the concept is pretty similar in all the three. That won't be a very problem to switch the backend module. So that's what is the objective. I would like to show you that we will be having one application and we can have multiple different types of backend available, and what are the differences with each backend process and how we actually make use of the features of all the backends, and whatever is the best part of each and every backend language, we make use of it, we integrate all of them, and then we make our application successful. So at the backend, you'll be having PHP, you'll be having Python, you'll be having Node. So all these things we will be using. Okay, so you don't need to worry about it. You'll get to know about how each and everything is integrated. Then what next we have? Yeah, so deletion of the account is very easy. We'll get that to you. Money will be back in your account. Yes, that's true. Without information, do not use any unnecessary services of AWS. That's fine. I will be explaining about each and every service, whatever you all have to use. So just follow the instructions which we are doing it over these live sessions. That will help you out. What are we going to use for email delivery? So definitely we use simple email service for email delivery, and that we can set up. You can set up that with Python and PHP. So I have set it up for both of the solutions, and I'm going to share that with you, that how we set up both 3 and how we integrate the emails. So you're going to learn that. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I hope, I think this is great. So we are present in first live session. RS Pandit, don't worry about it. You can have this live session today, and once the session is over, you can go back to your one-to-one account, and there we have start here live session section where you will be able to access the previous sessions also. Okay. Now let's see. So let's just quickly get back to where we were. So I have told you about the important tools which we will be having, setting up the server. Now here we come for the front end, or else you can say at the developer end what you need. Developer end, we will be using brackets ID. You can use, there are various other IDs available, Dreamweaver, and etc. You can also use Visual Studio for designing. Okay, there are so many, etc., etc. Don't worry about it. But why I prefer brackets ID? Because it's extremely lightweight. Okay, and the rendering views are pretty good, so that gives me very ease to run on a even low configuration machine and handle the views and everything accordingly. And one more stuff we have with this is Synapse. So that's available with other tools also, but I like Synapse because it is a secure FTP protocol, where I can actually sync my project with SSH as well as FTP. So I generally use brackets. But in case if anybody wants to use anything extra, you all can use Dreamweaver and Visual Studio also. But those who are working with me, I would really suggest to use brackets ID because you are going to love it. It's very easy, very lightweight, and supports a lot of IntelliSense also for HTML designing, jQuery designing. So your life is going to become very easy if you will be using all this. Okay. Second, for front-end designing tools, we will be having Android Studio, using which we will be designing our application. Okay. So in fact, from the developer end, I should actually write that here only. Visual Studio and all that I'm just removing. Okay. So one is this. Second, we would be needing an Android Studio to design our application. So here, using this, I'm going to design my web application. Okay, I'm going to design my web services. You can also call them as microservices, which we will be designing, which will be communicating to the application. Then on Android Studio, we will be having our mobile app. Okay, designs and controller logic. So let's say logic, we can say. So we are going to design that with Android Studio. Okay. So brackets will help you with jQuery along with, we will be using different languages here. What are languages we will be using initially? We'll be using PHP, we'll be using HTML5, we'll be using CSS3, we'll be using jQuery. These will be the four important languages initially. Later, we will be using Django, Node.js, React, okay, Angular. So you can use any of them. So that would be a problem at all. So once you guys are done with understanding, it will be very easy for you to design. Okay, so these will be some of the pretty basic tools which we would be needing. And for the planning phase, I have just provided you a tool known as Dossier, which was to handle the mind maps. Okay, this is for project planning, which actually keeps everything intact with you so that you never forgets anything, whatever comes in queue. And for client communication and collaboration, we have this Trello. So you have a Trello board. Okay, you can use that. So these are some of the planning tools which we are actually using. Along with that, now here comes the important part, the designing, the UI designing tools, which is very important. UI design tools. Okay. So for UI design tools, we will be using you will be using Adobe XD, Adobe Experience Design, which is very nice tool to use. You can design your UIs for web and mobile. Okay. Second, you can use Sketch, which is my personal favorite. Very easy to use, very easy to handle. Okay. This is same for designing UIs for web and mobile, but this is for Mac users. For Mac users, okay. This great tool, Supernova Studio, to transform designs into layout codes, or you can say UI layout codes. So this also we will be using Supernova Studio, as well as once you are done with the designing, you will be able to perform the designing also in the Android Studio also. So since many of the users doesn't have this, what say, the Mac, so I'm going to let you all understand how we can design in the Android Studio itself. So that also won't be a very big problem. Okay. So these are some of the basic tools which we will be using. Some reference websites which we will be using. So there are various websites for designs we use. Personally for designs, I like applabs.com. Okay. And I also like another for designs is designmodo.com. Okay. So designmodo.com is also a very nice website, and for email and quick templates also, UI designs. There are actually so many websites available. This is befree.io. This is also very nice for templates which you can use, and there will be so many for free templates. You can quickly explore them, but these are commercial tools. But for the people, those who are working with us on internships, I'm going to share the credentials with you, so you don't need to worry about these. Okay, so they come with a specific price of, one is of $29 up labs, and Design Modo is approximately $89. It has 3 different products, but you don't need to buy it. Whatever we will be using, I'm going to share each and every UI and every interface with you. Okay, so these are some of the things which we will be dealing with. So I've just quickly saved that with you, and the text which I have written over here is on this Trello link. So I've just followed. Okay, so I've just shared the link where you guys will be able to get that. So Ankit Kumar is asking, what is AWS? Yes, I will be discussing about AWS. Vivek Raikwad is saying, can we use Sublime Text? Yes, you can use Sublime. That is also a great tool. You can use it. That won't be a problem. You can use Figma also. Figma is also a very nice tool, and I personally like it a lot. So you can use Figma also. What is Docker? Docker, I have already explained in the previous session, so I would recommend you to have a quick look of our previous session. Once this session is over, you will be able to understand about it. Okay. Now, guys, so now here these are certain tools which have been provided. Okay, so in the previous session, I've already discussed about dossier and the Trello communication. Now we are starting with our backend designing part initially. Okay, so how we will have the setup for the server side and how we will be make it development ready. That is what is our first objective. Okay, so we are starting from this phase: creation of an account, creation of an EC2 instance, setting up the servers, setting up the file transfer protocol servers. All these things will be doing it. Okay, so you guys will be aligned with how these things are done, and then it will be very easy for you all to create any such project on AWS. Okay, so let's see. So for this, you all have to proceed to this website, console.aws.amazon.com. Okay. So I'm going to share that link with everybody on chat, console.aws.amazon.com. Kindly proceed to this website. Once you reach out to this website, it will ask you to create an account. Okay. So there would be an option, create an AWS account, which is going to be very easy. Okay. I recommend जिन लोगों ने एक बार previous session किया है, देखा है, I think the people would have already made the AWS account, but just a quick introduction I'm giving to how, because there will be some new people available. So I really recommend that you can watch out the lectures which I have already provided, as well as I'm just taking you there just to give you a quick introduction of how we create AWS. Okay, so once we click here on create a new AWS account, we'll be redirected to portal.aws.amazon.com. You have to fill up this form, your name, password, email ID, any AWS account name. You can use your name, okay, and you can quickly click on continue. Once you guys are done with that, it will ask you for a credit card or a debit card. Okay, you can actually make use of credit and debit cards both. So, but certainly what happens is many times people lock their accounts by providing unnecessary information like bad address in the credit card or in the debit card. So I advise you all to speak to your parents while using any of the credit card and the debit card, and specify appropriate information about the credit card, like the name on the credit card, the date on the credit card, the appropriate address with which the credit card is registered, okay, and whatever information it seeks. So that will actually help you in creation of the appropriate card, okay. And here I have already recorded a complete session on how you can quickly design this, how you can quickly create an account step by step. So the video session is here, okay. So this you can quickly get help with in order to quickly create your account on AWS. Now, once you guys are done with that, we can quickly go and sign up with AWS account. Now, once you get an account, okay, it's a very quick process. Just you have to enter your name, email, verify your credit card or your debit card, okay. One more thing to let you all know, it does not accept RuPay card, okay. So you can avoid RuPay card, as well as it will initially for verification, it charges INR 2, okay. And one good thing would be, once you have done this verification, you're going to get 12 months of free tier access. So there is a free tier EC2 instance machine, which I would like to again quickly specify you. This free facility is available only if you use free tier EC2 instance, okay. And I'm going to tell you which one is the free tier and how you have to access that. So once you have got access to free tier, you are going to get an account on AWS, and using AWS, you will be able to deploy your applications on the server, and you will be able to maintain it easily. Now let's see. So let's just quickly log in to the account. Those of you who have the account, they can quickly land up to the account here. Okay. I'm just logging to my account admin@hackveda.in. Okay. And in case if anybody needs any help, uh, let's say I am sharing my username and password with all of you. Okay, maybe I just need to check admin@hackveda.in, and this should be. Let me just quickly check back if that's my correct password, because I also forgot my password. Otherwise, I would have given my password with all of you. Uh, no, I guess I forgot. Uh, I think, okay, what I'll do is you need to register for your own AWS account as of now. Okay. So, I'm very sorry for that. I just forgot my password. But now let's see. So now what next we will be having, once we have got into AWS Management Console, okay, there will be n number of services available on AWS, which are very important services, and they offers you maintenance of very big applications, which are very uh, which you can scale for various purposes. So it provides you facilities of compute, where we will be using the very first service, that is the EC2 instance service. Okay, this service we will be using, and this service, what it actually does, it provides you virtual servers in the cloud. So you don't need to go to GoDaddy services. You don't need to go and buy HostGator or any hostinger kind of services. You can create an account on AWS. You will get access to the complete virtual server, and you have full control of it. So that is one of the best part. So if you have full control, you will be able to install your custom softwares. You will be able to design your products in case if you in a very nice way by including various extensions and add-ons available, which is limited on other hosting service provider services. That's why Amazon EC2 is quite preferred. Okay, so there are other services also here, which we will be having discussions a little later. But some important services which you might be using would be S3 for storage. Along with that, we will be having simple email services, SES services, which are quite important. So I'll just show you some of the services which you will be using during this. Would be your EC2 instance, your simple email services, your identity and access management services. Your pinpoint services would be the message notification services and the SMS services. All these comes under the pinpoint service. And then you can also have a key management service in case if you have a big team and if you want to share the credentials and keys with multiple different developers, then we have a key management service also. Okay. Key management service will also be useful when we will be designing accounts for our simple email service. So we have to maintain the keys so that we can authenticate the authentic application which we will be transmitting the emails. So we will be having a discussion on all of these. Okay. But first, you all have to quickly get started with the EC2 service. Now, in the EC2 service, what we have to do, once you click on EC2, Amazon EC2, it is going to redirect you to the first service, which is the instances. Okay. So now what will happen here? I'm just speaking in Hindi for now for a moment because there are certain audience, those who actually understand Hindi only. तो यहाँ पे अभी हम क्या कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे अब आप लोग अपना सर्वर बनाएंगे. ठीक है, जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हिंदी में समझते हैं उनके लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ कि आप लोगों को यहाँ पे वर्चुअल सर्वर बनेगा. जो इंस्टेंस हम बनाएंगे, यहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन है इंस्टेंस बनाने का. जब आप इंस्टेंस बना लेंगे तो आपकी वेब एप्लीकेशंस को आप इन इंस्टेंस के ऊपर स्टोर कर पाएंगे. ये इंस्टेंस एक तरीके से आपके लिए वर्चुअल कंप्यूटर्स हैं. ठीक है, ये इंस्टेंस और कुछ नहीं है, इट्स अ वर्चुअल computer for you, okay, where you have full access to designing the uploading the softwares and applications and everything. So what we will be doing, again I'm speaking in English for all the English participants, we will be taking up instances, where instances will be something like virtual computers available on the cloud, and using these virtual computers we are going to deploy our softwares and everything, and we will be able to make our applications ready then we will be integrating our applications with the client side. Okay. Now let's see. So we have the virtual computers. Let's see what we have to do. So here under the EC2 instances, once you click on instances, at the very bottom here, you're going to get an option known as launch instance. This is important for you. Here you have an option, launch instance. So once you have got access to the account, you have to log into it, you have to click on launch instance, and you have to get started with an instance. Now, moreover, let's say in case of those of you who does not have an account, I would like to, I just want that you all should be able to do that practically with me. That is what my major objective is. Just give me a moment. I guess I remember my password now. Let me just log in back and quickly check back if that would be my correct password. I will share that with you all so that you all will be able to test that with me. Yeah. So this is my password. I'm just sharing my username and password with all of you. So here it is. Okay. So here I have shared my EC2 instance ID and password. So for now, you all will be able to access that with me. Okay. Now let's see. So log into the account. And once you guys are done login, the URL also, I think everybody knows, it's console.aws.amazon.com. Okay. A very warm welcome. Now let's see. So here, now we got to EC2. Let's click on EC2. In the EC2, you all have to reach out to launch instance. Okay, you have to click on to launch instance. Under the launch instances, okay, here you have to get started with the first step. So guys, I hope this is clear to everyone. Once you guys logged in, just again, I would like to show you. Once you log into the dashboard, you have to select the EC2 instances. On the left-hand side, you're going to get the option instances. And under the instances, you can see I have a couple of instances already running. But now I would like to get started with creation of a new instance so that everybody is clear about how we are going to make use of free tier instances. Okay, let's see. So we are going to click on launch instance. Once we click on launch instance, okay, under the launch instance, we have to search for a Kali Linux server. Okay, आप यहाँ पे Kali search कर लें. You can quickly search for Kali. And under the AWS marketplace, you have to select the first option. Okay, we will be using this one. You have to click on select. In the search bar, I have used Kali and I have press enter, and then I have selected the AWS marketplace. Okay, so you have got Kali from the AWS marketplace. We have got this, and now we are going to select that and get started. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now, once you guys have reached here, let's click on select. And here is the second step. So Kali Linux operating system is available free of cost. Just you need to pay for the EC2 instance. Okay. So there are multiple EC2 instances available over here with individual pricing per hour. So it costs pretty less. You can maintain multiple servers, you can design multiple applications, and you can make your applications global to the world. And the best part is, let's say in case if you are a student, okay, you have ample amount of time to design basic small projects. So what you can do is you can design small projects, you can upload your projects on AWS, and those small projects may be useful for some people. So you can sell those products online. Okay, so that could draw a lot of money to you, even though if you are in college itself. So these are some of the practical things which, if you learn being a student, so your intellect will start developing. Along with that, you will be earning money also. So earning money is not the major objective. Earning money is always a byproduct of whatever services you offer. You always have to keep that in mind. If you are making something valuable, definitely you're going to get some good returns out of it. Okay, so you need to be always focused towards designing good products, the valuable products. Okay, and it does not need to be a very competitive product with respect to Microsoft and Google. You can start with a very simple project, very small project also. Okay, just you need to understand the complete process of designing the product, deploying it, selling it, so that you will get an overall idea and you become self-dependent. Okay, and independent from others. And as well, as you can see in today's scenario in India, uh, troublesome situations have arose. The situations like coronavirus have limited everybody with various aspects. Those who were dependent on some others in order to earn their food and revenue and money. Okay, so now IT has got some pretty good hike in this, because what IT is capable of, IT can be operated from anywhere. If you are working on any kind of business, if you are having it an IT background, if you are working on IT related field, it's going to be pretty awesome for you. Okay, so that's what you can do. Being a student, you have an ample amount of opportunities available with AWS and all these tools. So if you learn all these tools, just remove the resistance from your mind that I have to invest 2 rupees or 10 rupees, or I don't have a credit card, I don't have a debit card. Just try to arrange it, even if with your friends or with your family or with someone in your family, because it is not chargeable. It's just 2 3 rupees, but you will learn a lot of great stuff. Okay, and that will be really valuable. That's why I'm suggesting everybody should have an AWS account, because until and unless you're making something which is useful for others, it's of no use. Okay, and you won't be learning. So from this very early stage, you all should start designing simple projects. Even the product should be simple, but they should depict the importance with respect to a real time product. Okay, so मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि कोई भी एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट आप देख के उसका ही एक सिंपल डमी काइंड ऑफ बना सकते हो, तो वो भी आपके लिए यूजफुल हो सकता है initially. And then with that habit of designing basic products, you will be able to create your own value, because value actually comes from what you create. It does not come from what you own. You need to clear that in mind. Value will come to you with respect to what you actually create. If you're creating nothing, and if you are an owner of, let's say, some house or something, so you have nothing with you. Okay, you have to keep that in mind. So if you have that habit of creating things, simple things, small things, even if you are in college, if you start building this habit of creating some small applications, that is going to draw a lot of change and a lot of positivity in your life. Okay, so that will be pretty good. And with respect to the scenario, the current environment, this is the demand of the nation, or else of the people and of the environment. Let's see. So let me just quickly continue out of my uh, spiritual and motivational talk. Let me just quickly get back to my technical talk. So here you can see you have the free tier eligibility available. Okay, here is the instance T2 micro, free tier eligible. You always have to use this one. If you use this one, because by default some other T2 medium general purpose would be selected, आप प्लीज इसको इग्नोर कर दें, बिकॉज दिस विल बी अ चार्जेबल EC2 इंस्टेंस. एंड अगर आप फ्री टियर यूज करते हैं तो आप काफी लंबे समय तक अपने अकाउंट को यूज कर पाएंगे. इफ यू आर यूजिंग फ्री टियर servers, then you will be able to use your account maybe for a couple of months, or maybe up to 12 months also. So that's going to be a great experience for you. Okay, So we got this general purpose machine we will start. Now over this general purpose machine, there are certain other steps like configuration, adding the storage, but we are going to skip all these. We will directly go to the review section from here. So just to let you all understand quickly, we have selected the AMI, that is the Amazon machine instance was Kali Linux, which we have selected from the marketplace. We have selected that the instance type is an EC2 T2 micro instance. It has it has 1 GB RAM, okay, and it has basic storage. The internet facility is low to moderate, okay. Moreover, it offers you various other configurations also, and some of the biggest configurations, if you like to see here, are available over here, where users can actually create virtual instances with 96, let's say 96 GB of, I think these are 96 core CPU, 768 GB of RAM, and 8 disks of 7500 GB each of SSD, and an internet speed of 100 gigabit. So all these kinds of configurations can also be used, okay. And there are various other configurations where in case if you have to perform something over the computation, so you will be having certain great machines where, let's say this is a memory optimized machine which you can take up in case if you are building a very big application for, let's say, data science or machine learning, where you need a very high quality CPU processors and some high quality RAM. So all these things you can use. So you can see here we have a 3904 GB of RAM, which won't be actually practically possible without the cloud, okay. So earlier, in case if we have to switch our machine from even 8 GB to 16 GB, we felt like, okay, oh my god, it's going to be so costly. But if you are using cloud, you can actually scale up to any instance type depending on your application and project requirement, okay. So once you will be making real big industrial applications, then you will be using some great smarter configurations. But as of now, since we are building our first application, the basic application, we'll be starting it from free tier eligible module. Okay. So finally here, you have to quickly click on review and launch. Okay. Here there is an option, review and launch. Once you click on review and launch, you guys are going to get the Kali Linux system. But one thing you have to update here, and that is you guys need to understand about the security groups. Okay. So in the security groups, what we need to do, we need to define access to the port numbers. Okay. So currently, as you all can see, in the security group, only SSH facilities are enabled. Okay. Only SSH facilities enabled. We need at least 2 more facilities to be enabled over here. One facility is port number 80, where our web server will be listening, and second facility should be the FTP server, that is port number 21, through which we will be synchronizing the codes from the development machine to the server. Okay. So for that, what we will be doing, let's quickly go and add a rule. Under here, under the add rule, first I'm going to open port number 80. This port number 80 will allow you access to all the to run your web server, and you will be able to receive all the connections on your web server. Port 80 is the default web port. Okay, so you guys need to I think you all know that it's a default web port. Okay, I'll just type it here, default website port, web port. Okay, and there is one more information, 0.0.0.0. So this means everywhere. Everywhere means we are allowing incoming connections from all the clients, irrespective of what their domain and IP address is. So this means all the clients all over the world, irrespective of whatever their IP address is, in case if they are sending a request to our web server on port number 80, we are going to display them our website. Okay, so that's what we have specified over here. Similarly, we are going to select one more port, and that port is also going to be a custom TCP port. And this port should be port number 21. And this port number 21 will be an FTP port. Okay. What is FTP? It is file transfer protocol. Okay, so this will sync AWS server with our machine to synchronize the source code. Synchronize the source codes between developer machine and cloud. Okay, so that's why we are using port number 21 also, and we have to allow its accessibility from 0.0.0.0/0. Okay, so 0.0.0.0, this is the IP address, and this is the subnet mask. /0 is subnet mask. Okay, so you all have to be aware about all this. So I hope this is clear. We have got these two ports created, port number 80 and port number 21, and this is by default available port number 22, with which we will be connecting to that server. Okay. Now we are going to quickly click on review and launch. Once we go to review and launch, we can quickly see we have got a T2 micro server with 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. Okay. We have got these 3 ports open: SSH, HTTP, and a custom TCP rule, that is 21 port FTP. And finally, we are going to launch our server. To launch our server, you can get started with creating a new pair, and you can define the name of a pair. In case if you're using your account for the first time, you can make use of a key pair, and you can give a name here. Let's say my name is Devanshu Shukla, so I like to remember my key with my name, so I can create a new key pair. Or else you can also use an existing key pair. Okay, so for existing key pair, I have got multiple key pairs here: Devanshu Shukla PEM, Hackveda DSS, RKG IT server, Yashwini. There are multiple keys we have here. So let's say I would like to use one of my existing keys. आप लोग न्यू की पेयर बना के उसे यूज कर सकते हैं. ओके, न्यू की पेयर बनाना भी बहुत इजी है. जस्ट यू हैव टू यूज create a new key pair and give your name. So let's say I'm going to call it as internship key. Let's say, okay, I'm also using a new key. So I'm taking with internship key. I'm going to click on download key pair, and once I click on download key pair, I have got that downloaded here. You can see I've got internship key.pem file downloaded on my local machine. So this is the private key using which I can get connection to AWS server. Okay, and we can control the AWS server from the command line. So we are going to click on launch instances now, and once we click on launch instances, we are going to have several instances available. So you can see that multiple instances are running, and at the top, at the bottom right corner, you guys are going to get the view launch instances option. Okay, so you can click on view instances, and you will be redirected to the instance which is being created. Okay, so I hope we all have created the EC2 instance here. Now, once your EC2 instance is ready, we all will be using this EC2 instance. To connect to this instance, we are going to set up our PHP, our services. Okay, and once we are done with the services, we are going to set up our FTP. We are going to deploy a very simple application on the server, and we are going to check if the server is running properly or not. Okay, so let's say I'm going to call this as my internship server. Okay, this is my internship server. This internship server is running, and I have got an IP address for this internship server: 13.233.103.4. That is our server for our internship server. So I'm just going to save the IP here. Internship server will be running on this port number. So you can consider this IP address would be the IP address of our web application where our project backend will be running. Okay. Now let's see. So I've got a couple of messages here. Let's say, yeah, sir, it is taking 24 hours to activate the account. Yeah, sometimes it takes in case if something is is it maybe. So in that case, it takes 24 hours sometimes. So you just need to identify if you have provided the right information, then it may not go into the locked state. But yeah, I am aware about the issue. Sometimes it happens that it gets activated after 24 hours. So that won't be a problem. You can use my ID password for the demonstration for now, and later you all will be able to grab your account and get that activated and use it. So because you will be using many such accounts in future, we will be developing on cloud for Google Cloud as well. You will be designing for Microsoft AWS as well. So that will be very helpful. Okay. Now we have got, in case if anybody has got launch failed, so that generally happens because so that you all process, so that won't be a problem much. Okay, just wait for a couple of minutes and then try to refresh the page, and then you'll be able to launch it. Okay, so once it says loading, you all will be able to get that account. So if I refresh here, I'll also be able to see multiple students would have made that account, but as of now I think no one is using my account, so that is also fine. But those of you anyhow who has got a launch failed or anything like that, just wait for a couple of minutes, just, or even you can try a new account again sometimes if that loads up well, so that issue will be sorted. Okay, so sometimes the issue comes, but just you need to see if you have the appropriate internet connection, if you have specified the appropriate key and all the information you have specified well, like the way I have specified. Just try to follow the name conventions as well. If you have properly specified the port number and all, just you need to check the security configuration and all, because there is nothing much here in this case which we have done. The first thing which we have done was selected the operating system, which is Kali Linux. Second, we have selected the instance type, which was T2 Micro, which was a free tier version. So we selected that. And the third thing we have selected is the edit security configurations to open the port numbers. Port number 80, which is going to be our website port, and port number 21, which is going to be our FTP port. So once you guys are done with that, we have got the key downloaded. Now we have to access this internship server, or in your case, you have to access your server. Now, there are certain actions which you can actually see here. So what you can do now, there are various ways of connecting. So let's say I have selected my internship server. You all can also select your server. Sometimes what happens is you may need to modify any of the security configurations. Okay, so for that you have the security groups here. You can click here and you can modify, as well as you can get certain information about your virtual machine operating system here. Okay, so this is also a good piece of information available. Along with, you have various monitoring like the CloudWatch alarms. You have got various tags. You can see the status checks. Okay, there are certain usage instructions. A lot of information is available over here, but that is of not much importance to us at the moment. Later, once you have to maintain the complete server, then all this information will come pretty handy. Okay, so now what next we'll do. So once we have got our server, now at the very top you will get this option connect. Okay, so you can try with various options. there are three options with which you can connect your AWS server now. So by launching the instance, what exactly happened? You have actually created a web server on cloud for you. Okay, and that web server is a complete operating system which you can operate using command line, as well as I have recorded one session in which you can integrate web user interface with that also. So you can actually use it like a desktop machine. Okay, so you can go to the browser, launch the web interface, and you can use that AWS machine like a local desktop also. So that option is also available on my YouTube channel. I have that video, how to set up GUI screen for cloud. You can search for that, and it's a popular video. A lot of people have seen that video, so you can quickly see that also. Now, so there are three ways using a standalone client, and this is the general way which we prefer initially. Okay, so using the standalone secure shell client, there are multiple secure shell client available on Linux and Mac. There is an SSH command using which we can directly connect, and for Windows users, there is an application known as Putty which you all can use. Okay, so we'll be working out on that also, that how we can quickly connect to it. Now, post that, there is another option which I can see here is EC2 Instance Connect, which is a browser-based SSH connection. So if you want, you can click on it and you can try that. Okay. So once we have selected the EC2 instances, it is saying the username with which you want to log in. I will say I would like to log in with, let's say, EC2-user. I'm also trying it for the very first time. Connect using a custom username or default to the username for the EMI used to launch the instance. Okay, so by default on Kali Linux, when you select the Kali Linux machine, the default account name is EC2-user. Okay, so you can make use of EC2-user to quickly connect to your AWS instances. Now, once we go here and click on connect, let's say if I click connect here, so now you can see we are going to get an AWS cloud instance loaded. Okay, might be it is trying to connect. Okay, so it says there was some problem setting up the instance with the connection. So you can try that maybe with an appropriate speed, you may get access to that cloud instance. Otherwise, we have the standalone SSH client option available with which we can connect. Okay, so I'm going to show you that also, because connecting with the SSH client is an easy option, because being a developer, you don't want to log into AWS cloud again and again. Just you want to write a command and quickly connect to your AWS client. So I'm going to tell you both for Windows, Linux, and Mac, that how we can quickly connect it. So maybe due to my network connection, I'm unable to connect it. Maybe a stable internet connection is required. I am connected with my phone as of now, so maybe there would be certain latency issues. So you can try this option later. We will switch to the standalone SSH client. Okay. So in order to use a standalone SSH client, you can see that there are certain options like you can open an SSH client, you can connect using Putty, you can locate your private key file, and I'm going to demonstrate all these 4 steps. It says you need to change this module to 400, something like that, but we'll see and we'll check. And finally, you can connect with that PM file to this server. And the example command to connect with Linux, Mac, and Windows is with this command. Okay. So what you can do is you can make use of SSH command. SSH client is also available for Windows users also. So if you want to connect to AWS server from the command line in Windows, you can download SSH client for Windows command line. That is also possible. Okay. So what we will be doing, we are going to make use of SSH. We are going to select with -I the key with which we are going to connect. So this is our security key, which was downloaded when we have launched the instance. Okay. Now here there is a username which is displayed over here, root at EC2-user. You have to change this username to EC2-user. you won't be able to connect it with root. Okay, so change the username with ec2-user, and this is the domain name of your Amazon AWS server. But within this domain name, here the IP address is also reflected. Okay, so the IP address of this particular server is 13.233.103.4. Okay, so it's always easy to connect with the IP address because you don't need to write that big name. Okay, so we will be using this information in order to quickly connect to the server. Now, just an example. First, connecting with Linux machine and Mac machine is very easy. It's a step of only one command. So first, I would like to tell about the Mac. So for the time being, Windows users have to wait. Okay, and then I will switch to my Windows operating system, and I'm going to explain how Windows users can also connect with this information. Okay. So let us just close this information. I have quickly specified you how you can make use of this connect information. So there are only a couple of things required. You need to know the IP address of your server. So my internship server has this IP address 13.233.103.4. Username is ec2-user, and I should have a private key with which I can connect to the server. Only these three things are required. Okay. So first, on Linux and on Mac machine, what people can do, Linux and Mac users can start their terminal. Okay, so terminal is like a command prompt. So for Windows users also, SSH is available for Windows. So Windows users के लिए मैं एक बार साथ में बोल देता हूँ. If you all want, you can download SSH client for Windows. Okay, you can quickly download that SSH client for Windows. So it says Putty is one of the best, which is a graphical tool, but for Windows command line, we are going to use SSH client for Windows command line. Okay. So you can, okay, I guess how many of you are using Windows 10? If you can quickly tell me, because in Windows 10, by default, SSH is available. Okay, so if you want, if the people are using Windows 10, then you can enable your SSH service. In the PowerShell, there is the option. You can actually use SSH and the IP address, and you can get connected to it. So for the Windows users, here is an option to how to enable the SSH by default service available. I'm just sending that to all of you on chat also. Manu Tripathi is asking, can we make a virtual server using Hackveda admin account? Yes, you can create that. That's why I have shared the account with you. R.S. Pandit is saying your voice is not hearable. So guys, please confirm me on chat if my voice is audible to all of you. Abhinav is asking, sir, can we stop running instance? Does AWS charge anything for that? So it is not required, but let's say if you stop the instance, then it will run for longer duration of time. Okay. So till the instance is stopped, you don't need to pay anything. But if it is running, even though it is not chargeable, if you have the free account, okay, so you don't need to worry about it. Then Sairam is asking, sir, KeyPair doesn't open on desktop. Where to save it? You can save it anywhere, irrespective of the location. It is going to be a simple PEM and a private key file. Just you need to remember the path. You can save it anywhere. Don't worry about it. If it is not being saved on desktop, you can save it to any D drive, E drive, whatever drive you have on your machine. Okay. Okay, so stuff guy is saying, so your stream is lagging and we can't hear few words. Not a problem. I will try to speak a little slow so that my voice will be clear to everyone. Amrita Avasti is asking, sir, can we ask questions of this session later? Yeah, you can ask the question sessions later also. But it would be better if you can post your questions here. I will be able to answer whatever is possible. As well as on our website, hackveda.in, from 12 to 2, you can interact with us live for the queries, as well as we take offline queries also on one-to-one, so you can quickly post a message over there and we will help you out with the solutions. So here is the website. You can quickly reach out to hackveda.in, and on the right bottom there is this message option. You can quickly post the queries to us and we'll be happy to help you out whatever queries you are facing. Okay, so we do have a ticket based system here which will help you in understanding the stuff. Okay, now let's see. Uh, so let's go for it. So you can keep on posting the questions and I'll try to help out during the session also, as well as post the session also. We can have the queries and you can post it on my site also. Now let's see. So let's quickly go for the terminal users for Mac, Windows, and others like Linux. Okay, so the command is very simple. Just you need to use SSH and you have to use option -I, and the Windows users don't need to worry about it. After completion of this, I'll just come to the Windows machine and I'm going to tell you how graphically we can connect with AWS server. So you don't need to worry about it. Okay. For people those who are comfortable with command line, and I expect that very soon you all should be comfortable with the command line, because that will be pretty helpful for you all in designing the real projects, because command line makes your life very easy. With very smaller commands you can do a lot of tasks. Okay, so I'm going to interact with my file and I'm going to connect my internship key.pem file. Okay, then I have to define my server ec2-user. So you need to make sure that the username is ec2-user instead of root. Just use ec2-user, otherwise you won't be able to connect. And finally, I need to know the IP address of my server. So generally, what people try to do, they try to connect with this public DNS, but instead of that, you can actually connect with the IP address also. Okay, so the IP address is 13.233.103.4. So I'm going to use this IP address and I'm going to specify that. So once I connect that, currently I'm in my Mac machine. You can see that this is my Hackveda's MacBook Pro. But once I get connected, it will ask me, do you want to continue connecting? This fingerprint will be established for the first time. So I will say yes. So for the first time when you will connect your instance, it will ask you for a message like this, and you have to say yes, that yes, I want to install the private key, the public key there, so that there could be a connection from my machine and the server. So once we say yes, okay, so now sometimes it says the bad permissions on the key. Okay, so by default, what we need to do, we have to specify certain permissions. That is, we have to change the permission to 400 to our internship key first. Okay, so let's use chmod 400 download internship key.pm, because this was also specified on the connection option, that your key must not be publicly viewable for SSH to work. Use this command if needed. In case if you get any issue like permission denied, then you can use chmod 400 internship key.pem in order to connect. But Windows user doesn't need to worry about this step. Okay, जो Windows के users हैं उनको इसके बारे में चिंता करने की जरूरत बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. Putty is capable of making you connect to the server, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay, so now what am I going to do? I have done change mod. I would like to specify my previous command, but before that, let's clear the statement. I'm going to clear the screen, and I would like to specify this command now. So now you can see, once I have provided the permissions of this changing mod 400 to internship key.pem, and the second time I connected to my EC2 instance, so you can see that we have got connected to Kali Linux version 5.4. This is a Linux version, and now here we are in the shell of EC2-user at Kali. So now this is not my Mac shell. This is the shell of a Linux machine. Okay, so if I run uname-a, you can see that this is Kali Linux machine. Okay, so that means we are now connected to the server. Okay, so guys, this is how we actually connect to the server on Linux and Mac. Okay, and we can operate this server from command line. Now I'm telling you about the Windows way of connecting it. For Windows, you guys need to go to google.com. Windows users, just go to google.com. You have to download Putty and PuttyGen. Okay. So quickly go to download Putty. Here is the link. Okay, I'm just sharing the download link. You can go here and download the Putty link. Let me just copy the link with all of you, and I'm posting it on YouTube for the participants. Yeah, SSH is also included in Windows 10, so you guys can make use of SSH. Yeah, and here I'm just sharing the links on Trello also. This is going to be download Putty applications for Windows users. Here is the download link. Okay, so you have to click on this link, and once you guys click on this link, you will reach out here. So there are two softwares which we need. One is the Putty and one is PuttyGen. Okay, so where are these two softwares? These two softwares are available on this site. The first site is putty.exe, where if you are using a 64-bit machine, download this putty.exe. Second, there is puttygen.exe at the very bottom here. So again, if you are using 64-bit OS, you can download PuttyGen also. Okay, so let me just give you the direct links of putty.exe also. Okay, download putty.exe. This we will be using to connect to Kali Linux AWS server. And second, we will be using download puttygen.exe. This file is required to convert PEM key to PPK format for Putty. So Putty client actually needs the key should be in PPK format. Okay, so that's why what we have to do, we have to convert that into the PPK format. Okay, so I'm just sharing that. Just give me a moment. So you all can download that along with me. This is your putty.exe. Second tool which we need is puttygen.exe. Okay, so you guys are going to quickly get both of the tools which are required. Now, so let's just click on putty.exe to get that downloaded. We got putty.exe. I've got puttygen.exe also downloaded. Okay. Now, so there will be two steps. First, you have to start puttygen.exe to convert the PEM file into a PPK file. So these are just clickable softwares. Just you have to click on them and they will start running. Okay. So first, what am I going to do? I'm going to convert PEM files to PPK files. Okay. Using puttygen.exe. Puttygen.exe. PPK is known as Putty private key, okay, which is used by Putty software in order to connect to the AWS server. And why we need this PPK file? PPK file is used to connect to AWS Kali Linux server. Okay. Now, how we are going to do that? So in order to do that, let's just quickly click on load option. You have to come here, click on load on Putty key generator. Under the load, you have to go to the downloads section. And in the downloads, you have to open your file which is your, I'm going to sort by date modified, and I'm going to see where that file has been downloaded. Okay, I cannot see my file here. I'll just go to the downloads and see. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just copy my file from here, from the downloads to my Windows box. Okay. So here, that's my internship key.pem. I'm going to copy this file and I will paste it here on the desktop on my Windows machine. Okay, and then I'm going to use it. So so just find the location of your file. Where have you downloaded your file? Just quickly select that file. I'll quickly go to desktop, and over my desktop I have to open all files. Okay, yeah, so one thing you need to check back here, maybe the file was available there but I couldn't find it because by default it was only searching for ppk files. Okay, at the right bottom you just need to change it to all files.apk. You can see that here there's an option. By default it only lists ppk file, so you just click on it and select all files. Once you select all files, you will get your files here. Okay, so here is my internship key.pem. I'm going to select it and I'm going to open it. Once I open, it says that you have successfully got your file imported. So I'm going to click on OK. And then what next we need to do? We need to save the private key. Okay, so let's quickly click on save the private key. Now there is one more thing. In case if you want to set a password for your key file so that others won't be able to access it, you can specify a password here also. So let's say I am going to set a password ABCDE. In case if you don't want to set a password, you can directly save the private key also. Okay, but once you save the key, it will say, are you sure you want to save this key without a passphrase to protect it? So if you want to keep it unprotected, you can use no. But actually in the industry, all the key files should be protected with a password so that the principles of security is followed. And the principle of the security says you should only provide privileges to a person with respect to whatever work he has to do. And extra privileges means you are making your system insecure. Okay, so that's why it's always a good idea to set up passwords. So let's say I'm going to save it, and I'll say I'm not saving a password as of now, but it could be recommended that you can save the password. So now I'm going to save this file as internship key.ppk. Okay, so now the output format will be saved as file type ppk. So once I click on save, now you can see that I have got my files saved here. Okay, now let's see. So now what we have got our internship key file here. Now let's open putty.exe. So second tool which you guys will use is putty.exe. What this putty.exe will be able to do? Putty.exe will be able to help you to connect to the AWS server. Okay, so we need to remember the password. So password of our server is, I think I have kept it here. So the password is 13.233.103.4. This is my password, and you can quickly check back the password of your servers on your EC2 instance. Okay, so on the account where you have created your server, within that server you can have the appropriate IP address. You can copy the IP address and you can use the IP address here to connect. Okay, use the IP address. Second information you have to select is under the SSH, there is an option known as authentication. Okay, here in the authentication, you have to browse for the PPK file. So I have got my internship PPK. I'm going to click on open. Okay. So two things which you need to ensure. First, दो चीजें आपके पास यहाँ पे इंश्योर्ड होनी चाहिए. वो क्या है वो मैं आपको बता देता हूँ. First, okay. So first you have to specify IP address in host field in your session. And where is the session? Session information is available here. This one is your session information. So under the session, you have to specify your host name, which is your IP address, your SSH field, and within you have to select the authentication field. And under authentication, you have to select the key file. Okay, is that clear? So second step would be, let me just quickly write that here for your reference. Second step would be specify PPK file in SSH auth. Okay. Under the SSH auth, you have to specify your PPK file. Now, one more thing we generally do in order to remember our configuration so that we don't need to specify this again and again. What we do, we go to the session and we perform the third step. In the third step, we save the session. So let's say I'm going to call it as my internship server. Okay. Let's name it as internship server and save the session. So once you save the session, you can see that your internship server has been saved. So there are three steps. Specify the IP address in the host field, specify the PPK file in the authentication section of SSH, and third, save the session. Now how this will help you, once you have saved the session, you can click on open, and the next time when you will log in Putty, so you can directly open Putty, select your internship server, click on load, and then you can, once you click on load, your all this information will be automatically loaded, and then you can click on open the connection. So once you guys click on open the connection, similarly in the command line it was asking for yes and no. Similarly, it is also going to ask you for yes and no, so you have to click on yes. And once you click on yes, now it will ask you to log in with which account you have to log in. Okay, so let me just change the property of this a little so that it is visible to all of you. I'm going to change that, let's say 28 with some consolas format, 28. Okay. Okay, here. So now you can see that we have got a putty window somewhat like this. So this is asking for a login because we have not specified the username once we were login. So you can directly specify login as ec2-user, ec2-user, and once you press enter, it will directly make you log into your Kali Linux server. And if you execute the command uname-a, you can see that now from the Windows machine, we actually have got access to our Kali Linux machine also. Okay, so this is how we can actually connect the server. So I think this is clear to all the participants that you can actually perform the steps with Linux, Windows, and Mac, all the three. One more thing I would like to suggest you, somehow, in case if your SSH gets inactive, your connection is closed, maybe, okay. The next time, what you guys are going to do, the next time, what you can do is, you can quickly open Putty, P-U-T-T-Y, just open Putty, and I would like select the internship server and click on load. Now, once you load it, automatically your files, your key file and your IP addresses will be automatically loaded. So you don't need to perform the steps again and again of loading. So that's why we generally save the sessions information. One more thing I would like to update in the session here, and this information is specify ec2-user at this IP address. This will help you do one thing. You don't even need to just click on save. Select the internship server and save. So now from now on, EC2-user will automatically be appended to this IP address. And once you click on open the connection, automatically you will be logged into EC2-user. From the next time, you don't need to even specify the username also. Okay. So you can do that. You can specify your username along with the IP address and you will land up into the server. So I hope this is clear to every participant that what we can do is we can actually create our EC2 instances. We can create our server and now we have access to the cloud operating system. Okay. So since even if we are on Windows machine, we can have access to a server machine and we have full control of that machine. We can set up our applications there so it is accessible worldwide. All these options we can take care of. Okay. Now let's see. So here I believe this works for everyone, and let me just quickly check back for the comments. Yes, so I'm using internship server, so I need PEM file. Okay, so Mohan, even if you want to use my file, I don't think we have the option to upload here, but I will be uploading my key file here. Just give me a moment. But I don't want you to execute commands on my internship server because otherwise there will be conflict in the commands. So I would suggest either create a new server. Even if you want to create that server on my admin account, you can do that. Okay. But yeah, so as you can see here, a lot of students have actually started various instances here. So similarly, you guys can use it, but just avoid my internship server because I would be writing my commands and then it would be difficult for me to show because in case if multiple people are executing the same command on the OS, it may make it corrupted. Okay. So like this, we have got access to the specific servers. Okay. Now let's see. So okay, so here some people have started terminating, but that's pretty bad. You may have got access to it for the first time, even though I can restore my servers but from the next time, if this would be the behavior, I won't be sharing any credentials to the participants. No issues. That's a good lesson for me. Okay. But not an issue. Let's go for it. Let's continue the session from here. So I have got one thing here. We have you have got to understand the setup of your server on Windows as well as on Linux. So both that options are done. And for the time being, I would like you all to wait for a moment, and by the time we'll just quickly connect back. Okay, just give me a moment. Sending it on social network is always an issue. I guess I was aware about the issue, something like that is going to happen, but let's see. I've tried, but not an issue. So let's get back. We'll see what we have been doing it. So now you have got this Putty client ready. We have been discussing till here that you will get access to the Kali Linux server over your Windows machines as well as your Mac and Linux machines. Now we are going to perform some quick steps. The steps which we have to take care for is setting up a few applications. The first part we have to do is we have done these two parts. We have created an account and we have created an EC2 instance server. Followed by we have to set up the Apache, MySQL databases, PHP. We have to install the extensions And finally, we have to set up the FTP server and test our application. These 7 steps we'll be doing it. Okay. Just to do that, what we are going to do, here there are the commands which are written over here, over the Trello, which we will be using. So we'll install PHP 7.0. We will install PHP with MySQL support. We'll install Apache 2 modules for PHP, okay, so that Apache and PHP gets connected, PHP and MySQL gets connected, and PHP gets installed. You can skip this command, MySQL server. This command can be skipped because by default, MySQL server is already installed on Kali Linux and Linux server, so you can ignore this one, okay. But rest 3 you can install, which is PHP 7.0, PHP MySQL, and live Apache to mod PHP. Then we have to start the MySQL service. We can work out on the databases part in the next session, okay. But just install these steps, and I would like to make you connect with the FTP and get started with the basic development environment, okay. Let's go for it. So now what we are going to do, over Windows machines or on Linux machine, wherever you have access to EC2-user at Kali, now you have to start executing your commands within this Kali Linux shell. Okay. So first, what we are going to do, we are going to run the following commands. Okay. So under your EC2 user Kali, let's just start our first command. You're going to use sudo apt-get install. You're going to use PHP 7.0. Okay. You are going to install PHP for MySQL support, and you will be installing live Apache 2-mod.php. So live Apache 2 mod-php, what it will do, it will actually help you connect with PHP and the Apache server. Apache server is also by default available on Linux machines, but in case if you don't have that, somehow in case if you're using Ubuntu servers or any other server, you can also install Apache 2 also. But as of now on Kali Linux, you can ignore that. Okay. So we got apt-get install, PHP 7.0, PHP MySQL, and live Apache 2 mod PHP. So let's execute that. Okay. And you can see that all of these things have been already available and are the newest version. So we do have Apache 2 mod PHP is also the newest version. We have PHP MySQL is also the newest version, and we do have PHP 7.0 is also available. Okay. In case if there is any issue with PHP 7.0, you can directly install PHP also. Okay. So whatever is the latest version of PHP, so PHP already the latest version is already available, is already installed on this server. So we have got the servers set up. So this was the command. Just quickly see the command: sudo apt-get install PHP, PHP MySQL, and live Apache 2 mod PHP. By the time you guys are installing, let me just quickly see the questions in case if there is any. So I've got a few questions here. Let me just refresh. Okay, so we have got here. Can someone send the link Java environment setup operand? Okay, fine. I have installed JDK. So we have to install it for AWS also. I'm using it on WAMP server. You should always use the AWS server. Apache server already has this Apache, MySQL, and PHP available, so you don't need to do that for WAMP. But for this, for AWS, you need to set it up. Okay. Now let's see. So once we guys are done with that, now let's see what next we need to do. We have got the setup done. Let's go for the second setup, which we need to do. And the second setup is the setup of file transfer protocol. Okay. So let's go for it. apt-get install vsftpd. Okay. You have to use vsftpd. This is the secure file transfer protocol daemon, which we have to install. Okay, so SB Sairam is asking me a question. You have a spelling mistake in the Apache 2. You have written live APACE2. It should be Apache, APACHE2. Okay, so just confirm that. It should be Apache 2, APACHE2. So we have to install VSFTPD. Once we install that, you are going to get all these things downloaded on your server. Once we are done with SFTP installation, the second thing which we need to do is we have to perform certain configurations. So this is the first command, installation of file transfer protocol. This is very important because you will be coding on your machine, and whatever you code on your local machine, it will automatically be transmitted to the Apache server, on cloud. So that will be very easy for you to perform the development part. Okay. Now, once we guys are done with that, we need to change certain configurations. So to change the configurations, we have to go to etc, and under etc directory, we have sftpd-conf, that is the configuration files. Okay. So we need to enable two properties here in order to configure this. So there should be a write property which we should enable. And once we enable the write property, whatever changes we will be doing on a website or an application on the local machine, it will automatically be reflected on the server machine. Okay. So let's say we are going to open it. Now within this, if you scroll down a little, after you scroll, you need to check there should be two properties on. One should be local enabled, should be yes, which means we should be able to connect with the local users login. Second, the write facility should also be enabled. So this is to enable any form of FTP write command. FTP write, what it can do, whatever new codes you will be coding in your machine, they can be written on the server side. Okay. So we have to uncomment this. Earlier it looks like this. So we have to uncomment it and save it using Control O. So once you press Control O, it will ask you to save the name of the file. You have to press enter. The file will be saved. Now once this property is ready, you will be able to upload any files on the server. Okay. Let's close it. Let's use Control X. Okay. Now here. So once we have got VSFTPD configurations done, one more thing we need to do, we need to set a password for our account so that nobody else will get access to our FTP server, and he might hack it, he might change the web application. So for that, we need to ensure the security. To ensure the security, we are going to set a password for EC2-user account. Okay. So always try to make use of sudo passwd EC2-user. It will not ask you for an old password. It will automatically ask for a new password. I'm going to set a password. As per your requirement, you can set up a password. Let's say I'm going to specify a password as ABCDE. Okay. The new password I'm going to specify as ABCDE. So I've got the password updated successfully. Okay. So here the passwords are not visible, but I have specified the passwords as ABCDE. Okay. Just for your reference. And the username is EC2-user. So with this username and password, we can actually log in with FTP. So now there will be three information which is available here. FTP host, which is going to be the IP address, and the IP address is IP address of our application is okay. Let me just quickly see. The IP address is 13.233.103.4. Okay. Let's say here. So host IP address will be 13.233.103.4. Okay. Then we need to specify the username of FTP. Username of FTP is EC2-user, and there's the password. Password is ABCDE. So using this, using an FTP client, we will be able to connect to this server. Okay. Now let's see. So for now, if I execute an ls command, there are no files here, but let us just quickly make a sample file here. Okay. So I'm going to make a sample file here. This is a sample file. Okay. This is just to ensure that once we are connected with FTP, we are going to get access to this file. Okay. And let's say I'm going to call this as sample.txt. Okay, or else what I can do is, let us just quickly write a simple web page, like a simple HTML page. Okay, so we can change the directory to var World Wide Web HTML. Just to tell you what is this var World Wide Web HTML command Z. So this var World Wide Web HTML file, this directory, this is the default web server directory. Okay, and all files which you want to be publicly available, all publicly available files like HTML files, CSS files are available in this directory. Okay, so in case if you want to make a web page and you want that web page to be displayed on internet, if somebody specifies your IP address, you have to keep the files here under var World Wide Web HTML. So this is the default web server directory. All the files available here can be quickly rendered on a browser. So here I'm just making a simple file. In this directory, by default, we have two files, index.html and index.this.html, which actually does what? In case if I start my Apache server, sudo service Apache to start. Okay. If I start the Apache service, and if we navigate to the browser, okay, if we start the Apache service and navigate to the browser, 13.233.103.4. So you can see this default Apache Debian page. Okay. You all can open this server and you can quickly see that the default web server is accessible. Okay. So you can see that this is my AWS IP address and this Apache web page is loading. Now what we can do is, let's say in case if I quickly modify that, I'm going to remove both of these index files. I'm going to use star to remove both the files. Now once I've removed it, okay, this command which I have specified is delete both index files. These are the previous files which I have deleted. Now what I want is, I would like to create my core index file. Okay. So let's say I'm going to define a simple HTML file here, HTML/HTML. Okay, this is not a way of writing an HTML page. We will be using the standard way of designing the web pages, but just for your information, I'm just specifying a simple HTML code. Let's say first app, let's say like that. Okay, so I've quickly defined an HTML code and I'm going to save it into index.html. Okay, so if I quickly done echo and if I save that index.html, I can also do that with sudo command. In case if you ever get issues like permissions denied, okay, whenever you get an issue like permission is denied, try to solve that permission denied issues by specifying sudo. Sudo is equivalent to run as administrator in Windows. It's like run as administrator privileges. Okay. We also call it as run as root. Root is the default administrator account in Linux. Okay. So if we quickly execute this command, if I use command Z, or else let me just quickly clear it. So now what we are going to do, we are going to get that file created. Here still says permission denied. Let us just quickly see why is it saying permission denied. So it actually has access to root, read, write, execute, read, write, execute. to the HTML directory. Okay, we should get the access to decide it. Sudo echo into index.html. In case if it says like that, so what am I going to do? Let me just change the ownership. So I'm going to change the ownership recursively of my HTML directory to ec2-user. Okay. So now earlier only root has permissions to specify to create any files and folders in that. Okay. Other permissions were not available for other users. So now what am I doing is I'm actually creating ownership to ec2-user. So you can see that earlier the ownership was available with root account for this HTML directory. But if I run it again, now this has changed to our ch own has changed this to ec2 users. Okay, here you can see. Okay, so with the command, what I have actually done, I have changed the ownership of from root. We have changed the ownership to ec2-user, and once I have executed the command again, you can see that now the owner is ec2-user. So ec2-user can now create any files in the World Wide Web directory. Okay. So once we are done with that, let us just quickly create it. I'm going to clear the drawings here, and I'll change to HTML directory, and I execute my previous command, which is the echo HTML. So now this time you can see our file has been created. Okay. So if I list, you can see that we have got an index.html file created. And if you now go to the browser and refresh the page, you can see we have got the index.html appearing as our first tab. Okay, so this is how just we have got access to our AWS server. Okay, now what we want, we need to set up an FTP client through which we can define our codes and can quickly update it. We don't need to do it from command line. This is going to be a difficult way of designing the web application. This should not be the way. We should actually design it in a code editor, and we should be connected with FTP so that all the codes can quickly be transmitted to the server. So in order to do that, what we are going to do, let us just quickly go to FTP servers. Okay. So on Windows and Linux both, you can actually download FTP services. And I would like to, okay. So you can quickly go to Chrome. Under Chrome, you can download FileZilla. FileZilla is a FTP client which you can use. FileZilla, okay, download. So here I am specifying the link of FileZilla account in the Trello, as well as on your chat. I am also forwarding the FileZilla. And for your reference, this is also going to be one of the tools which we will be using. So I have specified this here also. Okay, I'll just specify here. Download FileZilla for FTP connections. Okay. This is actually required if you have to upload the files manually. But if you want to have a setup like just you want to code and you want that code to be updated over the server, for that you can actually download Brackets. So Brackets is a modern source code editor for web designing. This is a very nice tool which you all will be able to access. Okay. You can download it for Windows, Mac, and for other versions also. I'm sharing its link with you. So instead of FileZilla, just download Brackets. We will perform the connectivity part in the Brackets itself. Okay, nice, very nice, Pulkit. SV sidearm, no, you don't need. By default, MySQL Server is available on AWS console, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay. Now let's see. So here we guys are done with that. Let's see. So once you are going to download brackets, it's very easy. Next, 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 install. Once the brackets is installed, you can now open your project. Let's say I will go to brackets. Okay. So you can download the brackets, install it. It's very easy. Step by step, next, next, next. You are done with the installation. Now you can open brackets. Brackets is a web application designing and coding tool where you can write your HTML code and do a lot of stuff. So once you open brackets, on the left hand side, you're going to get all your projects available, the current directory which you want to open. Here you can create the new files, you can create your new projects, okay? Or else, what we can do is using brackets, we can directly connect to our AWS server and we can modify, we can start writing the code in that directory itself, okay? So that's what we will be doing. So I will be connecting to the AWS server and we will be writing the codes from this brackets and they will automatically be updating on the AWS server, okay? So for this, what you guys need to do? So you guys need to have a few information here, like what? So at the top, at the right corner here, as you all can see, we have an option for extension manager. In the brackets, if you all can reach out to brackets, at the right hand side, you will be having extension manager. So you have to click on extension manager after installing. After installing brackets, just go to extension manager and quickly search for Synapse. Okay. Once you click on Synapse, you're going to get bracket Synapse and simply you have to click on install here. In my machine, it's already installed, hence it is not visible to me. But once you guys will type Synapse here, you will get an install option. You just need to click on install and it will be installed in your brackets within a couple of seconds. Okay. Once your Synapse is installed, then what you need to do? At the right hand side, here is the Synapse manager. Okay. So once you click on Synapse here, Synapse is what? It's a secure FTP extension which can actually transmit the code you are writing in brackets directly to your cloud. Okay. So once I click on Synapse, it is asking me which the server settings have been stored via the plain text. So I recommend to do the encryption to the settings, kind of that. This won't be visible. By default, you are going to get the direct interface for Synapse. I'll just quickly log in to it and I'll just show you how it looks like. ABCDE, ABCDE. Okay. So once you click on Synapse on the right hand side, you're going to get an instance somewhat like this. Let's say I'm going to delete my previous connection so that I'll show you like properly how it looks like. So if I go to my Synapse manager, by default, okay, you will say settings must have been crypto before the Synapse is activated. Just click on OK. Password for decrypt, let's say ABCDE. Okay. Now here, once you open Synapse for the first time, you're going to get it blank. So here what we have to do is we have to add a new server setting. So I'll just make it a little big so that it looks clear to you all. So under the Synapse, on the right hand side, we have selected on this option to enable Synapse. And once the Synapse is enabled, now we have to add a new server where we want to host our files. So we want to make an FTP connection to our IP address 13.233.103.4. This is my IP address of the AWS server. Username was EC2-user. Password was ABCDE. And once I select that, I just need to click on append. So now you guys can see we just need three information: the host name, port number is 21 by default, IP address is the username is ec2-user, and the password which you have set for the account ABCD. Once I click on append, you can also define the current directory which you want to access. Okay. So what I can do is I can directly click on append, and I will land up into the host directory by default. Okay. So let me just quickly minimize it a little. Okay, so delete the server setting was successful. Initialization completed successfully. I'm going to click on append. Okay, EC2-user. I'll just quickly check back my IP address. It is 13.233.103.4. 13.233.103.4. EC2-user. Password was ABCDE. And I would like to access my current directory home/ec2-user, let's say. I'm going to click on append. Okay, maybe there is some issue with since I've deleted my files. So due to that, I think something fishy has happened here. Just let me just quickly save it. EC2-user, and the password should be ABCDE. Okay, let's change the setting name. I would like to change my setting name as Internship Server 1. Okay, and I would like to specify the current directory as /var/www/html. This is going to be my default directory. Now, somehow failed to authenticate. Please confirm your server settings. Could not read the server. Okay, that might be due to there would be some more configurations we need to do. And why the problem is, I'll just quickly tell you. The problem is we have not started the FTP server. Okay, so one thing we need to do is just in your EC2 Linux, start your FTP service also. Sudo service vsftpd start. Okay. Once you start your FTP service, now you will be able to connect to that server. Okay. So I'm going to remove this internship server here. That is not required. This directory is also not required. We'll go to the default directory. Only three informations are required: the IP address, username, and the password. Okay. And now once we click on append, we'll see once we get the connection, we may land up to the appropriate account. Deletion of the server settings was clear. Maybe what has happened. Okay, just let me check. Let me connect in a moment. Need to check what has happened to this. Maybe just by one more thing we can do. Just we can quickly check certain configurations. So to check certain configurations of VSFTPD, we have to go to the configuration files. Maybe there could be more options which we could enable. So write enable we have already done, and there are two more features which we generally enable. One is the change ownership. These are also sometimes are enabled. Okay, as well as ASCII uploads enable. ASCII root we have to enable. Okay. Then we have the customization services, RSA enabled. By default, though, these are not required to enable the change root. We can directly access it without enabling the change root also. But I just think because I have deleted my anonymous enable, no, that is fine. Control O, Control X. Just give me a moment. I've got my username appropriate, EC2-user. I've got my settings. Just I need to do one thing. Maybe I need to remove my server settings once for Synapse. That could be a problem. That's why it is failing to authenticate. So let's just do one thing. Maybe let's just do one thing. I'll just close Synapse once. I will just close my file, my brackets once, and I'm going to restart my bracket again. Maybe sometimes it happens the file may get have locked. So under my views, I'm going to open Synapse again. Thirteen dot 233.103.4. Username is EC2-user. Password is ABCDE. And setting name, I can quickly click on append now. Maybe I think there is some issue is happening with this. An error occurred in the authentication or could not read files from the current directory. Okay. So there is one more problem which is happening here, and that is due to the file permissions maybe. Okay. So the directory should be accessible with EC2-user. So that should be provided here. So since we have got our SFTP should have that access to that particular account. Let's say EC2-user is the account, and we have access to EC2- also has access to this directory. But what I'll do is I'll just try once with my current WAR worldwide web HTML directory. I'll just quickly check back with that /HTML because I have specifically applied the permissions over there. But this generally doesn't happen. There could be two things. Either we can have a worldwide web access, www data, that can allow us access to that, or else maybe due to deletion of the file, just because of that, this trouble is happening maybe. So just I'll do one more thing. I'll just quickly change the ownership uh, to World Wide Web data recursively. World Wide Web data to my VAR World Wide Web HTML. And we are going to provide the read-write access to that as well. Let's say plus read-write execute to VAR World Wide Web HTML. Okay. So I'll say only give read-write permissions. Read-write execute permissions. Oh, sorry, that is change mod. Okay, so I've given the read, write, execute permissions to HTML directory once, and I'll just quickly check back again. Well, all these things are generally not required to give the permissions. I think something wrong happened due to this extension deletion maybe. That's why it's not trying to connect. Okay, so you guys need to give me a moment so that I'll just quickly remove it and reinstall it. Somehow the brackets is showing certain troubles. Just you need to give me a moment. Just give me a moment. I'll just quickly check that back. We have enabled the server. We have enabled the services. We have the appropriate configuration. So that part is perfect. Just, I believe, somehow due to some deletions, maybe certain locks would have been available on the file. So that's why it's not trying to connect. So just you need to give me a moment. I'll just quickly reinstall it. Some of you who would have tried and got connected to VSFTPD can quickly tell me in case if you have got connections with Synapse. So you just need to give me a moment. I'll just reinstall it. Because you only need one thing. You need to set up the FTP. You need to provide the ID password to that. And then you need to connect to your account. That's it. Sometimes it is possible that permissions could be an issue. So we have also provided the permissions also. And in that case, if it is not working, then you have to ensure that somehow some locks may be done on Synapse, because these are extensions to the interfaces like brackets. So one thing is, either we could have gone to check the Synapse where it is located and we can remove it. Otherwise, I have thought of a quick way to reinstall my brackets. Okay, so by the time this gets loaded, I'll quickly take the questions in case if anybody has any questions. By the time, I'll quickly help you out. Um, yeah, actually, I have enabled my FTP on AWS server. So I'm trying to connect to the AWS server that is on Linux. So instead of, even if I have enabled it through Mac, that won't be a problem because the server is on cloud. So the steps are pretty clear, but the only issue is because I have just deleted the previous configuration, so there might be certain locks on that file. So that's why I have just deleted that. Otherwise, for setting up of FTP, only this is the simplest solution. Install the SFTPD, set a password on it, and connect to the directory. So there is no the steps are pretty easy. Just that sometimes it happens because a lot of softwares are being used and the extensions create certain files, and sometimes those files gets locked, so it might cause an issue. Okay, so uh, it will be sorted. That's not a big issue. So by the time, in case if there is any other questions, I can have it. So my FTP service configuration is blank as my PHP SQL Apache 2 setup did not run. So your PHP SQL and Apache setup won't be a problem because it is not related with FTP anyhow. Just you need to rerun your command SBS Siram by removing MySQL-server. You can remove that and just run PHP MySQL, and live Apache 2 -mod -PHP. And you have been doing a mistake on live Apache 2. So you actually need to update that, as well as the second command also, which you have written over here, is sudo/nano/etc bsftpd.conf. This is also wrong. You just need to use sudo space nano space /etc/bsftpd.conf. Okay, so you won't get the blank file. And before that, I hope you have installed VSFTPD. So that would solve the issue. Okay. And where to learn the commands for Linux? So to learn the commands for Linux, the easiest way is to use the man pages. Man pages are quite helpful and quite useful. So I'll tell you how you can learn about each and every command. Plus, you can quickly explore some basic primers also, and I will share you some good primers on Linux, which can actually let you understand about some great commands. So I'll definitely, as a resource, I'm going to share that with all the participants. So you don't need to worry about it. So I've just got that installed. Just give me a moment. Okay, so I hope you all are also doing along with me the steps. And if you are at the same step at Synapse, I believe you all will be able to access it because you may have installed it for the first time. But in case if you don't have any other FTP service, you can use my credentials like 13.233.103.4. You can use the same IP address. The username is ec2-user and the password is abcde, which I have set. In case, just to ensure if I have got the right password, what I can do is I can quickly set the password again, sudo pass wd ec2-user, ec2-user, just to ensure I've got the right password. So I've updated the password again, and I would like to restart sudo service vsftpd stop. Again, I will just quickly check the configuration slash etc slash vsftpd conf. Okay. So here I have local enabled, anonymous enabled, write enabled, local mask, anonymous directories, directory messages, local time, connection from port. Sometimes change ownerships are also allowed. So we can use the change ownership, but though it is not required initially in order to do that, but somehow it might be an issue. So I'm just quickly checking them out. As well as the server will return allows asking mode, in fact, to ignore the request. Turn on the below options to have the server actually do ask time handling. We don't need that. FTPD banner email ID. You may restrict local users to their home directories. No, we don't want that. You may specify explicit list. Users change to. We can do one thing. Instead of this change ownership uploads, we can allow the options here for change root local users. So that is dangerous. That should not be done on a production server generally. So let's see, let me not do it. The configurations are fine. We should be able to connect that. Maybe only there could be certain permission issues could be there. I feel. So let's just quickly get that brackets installed. I'm going to set up again. SBS, sir, what to do when we have SSH client and use CMD? Is it more easier than what we have been taught now? I missed the configuration. I will repeat it. Yeah, if you have SSH, that would be easy, as in to access the AWS server. Connecting it with PuTTY is also not a problem. You can connect it both ways with SSH using command line as well as with PuTTY. But for configuration of your web applications and maintaining the web applications, you need to have a syncing software. So because it is very difficult to write all your codes on the shell directly. So that is not the preferred way of using it. As well as uploading would also get complex because in case, even if you have to do some small changes, you have to upload it again and again. That will waste a lot of time. So that's why we have to connect our IDE with our AWS server so that as soon as we write the code and save it, it should automatically be uploaded on the cloud server, and the maintenance should be very easy. So even in fact, if the live users are using your website and at the same time you can work on your project and you can modify or update any code, whatever you want. And once you save it, once you have checked that yes, the code is working fine, you can quickly save it and the latest copies will be uploaded and updated on the server side. So that will be very helpful in the real-time user application development. So just let's get it done in a moment. Okay, so I've got brackets installed. Once you have got brackets installed, let's just run brackets. Now once I run bracket, I'm going to get a page somewhat like that. Okay. Open graphic files and external editors. I don't want to use anything like that. Let's just close it. Okay. So I think the Synapse extensions is still available. Oh my God. That's not got deleted. I think it's located at some other location, maybe in the plugins. Okay, just let me check. Program 586 bracket. We have the commands, the locales, the plugins. Extensions. Okay, just give me one more moment because I have got the same extensions loaded again. It would have been better for me, otherwise I would have stored it into a different directory. That could have been a better option, but let's see. I'll just okay, so I'm going to add a server list. The IP address is 13.233. Just check if my server is appropriately running. My server is an internship server. In the authentication or could not read the file from current directory. Okay, slash home slash ec2 hyphen user. That's strange. Somehow something fishy has happened. I'll just quickly show you with another server 13.132. Sorry, I have 13.232.111.180 EC2 hyphen user and ABCDE. So here I'm connecting with an IP address. I think some extension problem has been done here. Just I need to remove it. So I would have got Synapse here. Let's just remove it once. Okay, so I have removed it once and I'll just install Synapse again. Maybe that was an extension issue. Strange, for the very first time I have experienced such a fishy issue. So I'm going to reinstall it. So I'm getting the new zip files from Amazon AWS for brackets to get that installed here. So I've installed the new extension. I'm going to close it. I'm going to open Synapse Manager here. Settings must have been crypto before the Synapse is activated. Passwords for decrypt. And okay, 13.232.111.180 EC2-user at ABCDE 12345 maybe. ABCDE. Mm-hmm. Okay, so very strange thing has happened for the very first time. Let me just quickly refer a resource here. I would have attached here maybe. On my card, I would be having a reference. Let me just quickly check back in case I might be missing something. But certainly, here is a link which I am sharing with all the participants just in order to ensure again. VSFTP link. Okay, so we have got the APT installed, we have enabled the right local, and that's it. We have got the FTP user one selected. So what I can do is I can quickly check back the FTP service once here, 127.0.0.1. So, okay, this connection refused. Okay. Sudo service VSFTPD start. Actually, I forgot to restart the service, so I've just restarted again, and I'm going to connect that with again. But my another server FTP was running. Okay, maybe FTP with the local 127.0.0.1. Here I'm logged in with EC2-user, asking for the password ABCDE, and you can see that we have logged into the account. So we have that enabled over here, as well as port number 21 we have already allowed on that service in the configuration. So we should have got access to this here, but somehow it's not happening. I don't know why. Some fishy thing happened with the Synapse extension, maybe most probably. Okay, that is 103.4. Oh, I'm using 133. 13.233.103.4 EC2 hyphen user and ABCDE. Maybe we have got this correct extension, we have got the correct directory, World Wide Web slash maybe HTML you would like to access. Even if you want to access slash home, maybe slash home slash EC2 hyphen user. Mm-mm. No, maybe somehow there is some issue happened with Synapse maybe. An error occurred in the authentication or could not read file list from the current directory. In fact, we have specified all the appropriate information and we are able to log into that with local also. But somehow some fishy thing is happening. Uh, ls-l slash home slash ec2 hyphen user. Oh, we have nothing over here. Cd slash var slash world wide web slash html. We have a list file here, ls-l. If I would like to give the ownership to, okay, sudo chmod 777 html slash start html. Okay, and now if I access that 103.4 with ABCD as a password, and that is the root directory, slash var slash www slash html. No, maybe something, I believe there is certain issue with the extension which is installed here. I think that's what is creating the problem. Just I need 1 minute. Synapse. Brackets. Maybe something, actually what I'll do is I just need to check it again. FTP connections 1. Let me just try that with another one. This also actually read the configuration file host 13.233.103.4 EC2 hyphen user, password ABCDE, server path we don't need, click on save, trying to load the connection. This cannot be updated with the FTP connection views. Server setup with FTP 13.233 command V. HTTP EC2-user password ABCD server path we don't need. Maybe I think we need to work out on that again. Yeah, maybe because yeah, that's a good idea. We can try that with FileZilla also. Yeah. That's also a nice idea. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly check back the connection with FileZilla once. 13 dot, I think the IP address is this 13.233.103.4. Username is EC2-user. Password is ABCDE. Port is 21. And the quick connection. So it says always allow retrieving. Yeah, so see here, now we have got logged in appropriately, and here we are retrieving the directory listing. So FTP service is working fine, but there is certain issue happened with our current synapse. So due to that, something is happening. We were unable to log into that. But I'll just quickly check back because the problem happened because somehow I deleted that configuration file. That also could be due to the current network which I am connecting. That also could be an issue. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just change I'll just try to connect that again. And by the time it gets downloaded again, sometimes what happens is sometimes with respect to the current connection we are having, sometimes it also creates troubles because here we are able to log into the server appropriately, but there is certain issue with listing of the with the directory which we have to access. So directory access we have actually provided that which directory we would like to access. Here is that So you can see that we can successfully log into that, but somehow in retrieving the directory listing, there is an issue. So we can either provide the permissions to the current directory which is being accessed to the SFTP. Got this terminated. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just quickly check back with the issues happened with brackets, because we are somehow able to access, we are able to log in, we are connected with the FTP service, but somehow due to certain permission issues, maybe it is getting failed to retrieve the directory listing. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly either one last trial I can do for that EC2 ownership directory. Just one last attempt. Let's try that. And just log into my internship key with this and sudo change the ownership to recursively to ec2-user ec2-user /var World Wide Web HTML. Okay, so I've just given the permission to var World Wide Web HTML, and I'm going to load that. Though let's just create a new site, create a file transfer protocol, use the IP address 13.233, port number 21, use explicit FTP over TLS, logon type normal, ec2-user, password is ABCDE. Another advanced information like any default directory I would like to access /var/World Wide Web /HTML. Okay, maybe I'll try to, sorry, default remote directory. I will define the remote directory as this. Okay, use synchronized browsing, and I would like to click on connect and check. So we have logged in. It's trying to retrieve the directory listing of var World Wide Web HTML. So I just need to check the configuration. I think there is something has happened, because the connections and everything was proper, but just we need to check either I have allowed the port numbers also. I'm just testing that with another server. So here also, when I'm testing with another server, I'm getting an issue. So this might be an internet issue or something at my end, maybe, due to which I'm unable to log into the FTP server. Because it has been allowed everywhere. Shall we see what we'll do? I just check out with the problem, because there shouldn't be any problem. It's just a direct thing that we have to specify the FTP and we have to do it in. But somehow there is some unknown issue has encountered. So I just need to check what is that, and I'll quickly sort the problem out in the next session. Okay. So I'll just quickly check back what has to be, what wrong has been done here. I'll quickly check back with Synapse as well as FileZilla, because the credentials and everything we are providing correctly. It's trying to log in as well, but instead of accessing the appropriate directory, there is certain trouble in accessing it. Though we access all those servers, I have multiple servers over here, which I generally access through AWS, and all these are connected appropriately. But somehow this AWS configurations has got some out of TLS connections. That's why we are unable to access. But with the TLS connections, for where I'm using the TLS security, I'm able to log into that particular servers. So what I'll do is I'll just check with that why TLS is not being supported over the current network. Maybe there could be an issue. So I'll just sort the problem out, and we'll discuss that in the next session. Okay. So just for now, just a quick, very short overview of what we have done. the FTP services and everything has been configured. From the next, we will be designing the database part, and we will try to configure it in an appropriate way. Just I'll look into it, that what problem happened with our FTP service. I'm quite amazed with this kind of problem which happened, but definitely I'll explore it and I'll let you sort the problem out, because that is the way with which we generally connect to all these applications, and we try to write code and we quickly synchronize it with the server. So that's all for the day. So one quick information for all of you. You all have to quickly check back your one-to-one account where important exam preparation sessions have already uploaded. AWS sessions also have uploaded. So you can actually go through with the AWS sessions just to quickly understand what all services are available. So this is also recommended to all of you. Under your one-to-one program, you can actually go to AWS Amazon Solutions Architect Associate. Here under AWS Associate, all these steps we have already provided: how to convert the PEM keys, how will you be installing the AWS, PHP, Apache, MySQL. Along with, we already have the nodes and all the commands which are required. We have also specified them. So there is a complete session on Amazon Web Services to understand the storage services, to understand the FileZilla FTP part is also included over here. So you can quickly check back both of these settings also, AWS FileZilla FTP. Okay. And the brackets part was new, which we don't have a previous video recorded, but somehow I'll just check back with the issue which unknowingly occurred. So I'll just identify what is the problem. Otherwise, for other additional services or Amazon like S3, RDS services, instance services, hosted and shared tenancy services, you all can quickly explore these video series so that you will get an overall idea about how Amazon can be actually used in industrial product development. Okay. So next, we will be working out towards the models of our application, where we will be working with the databases and all. And once we will be done with databases, in the next session, we'll proceed with the UI designing and the control interface logic interfacing. Okay. So thank you all for being so patient. I would like to really thank you all for being so patient in this brackets kind of issue. But I will try to identify the problem, what happened, and definitely I'll come up with the solution in a very short duration of time. As well as, is it also applicable for the engineering students? Yes, this program is generally for engineering students of IT and CS background. So you can actually enroll it using here. I'm just sharing the link of the registration, World Wide Web hackveda.in/events.php. Okay. Along with, moreover, kindly get started with preparation for your Microsoft examinations also. We are very shortly bringing the Microsoft certification examinations for you also. But before that, our Python evaluation tests and other tests which will be conducted, they will also be based on them. So you can reach out to Microsoft certifications and you can explore various examinations which are available over here, live examinations, their preparations, okay, along with examinations of Python, full stack HTML and CSS, as well as Java and cybersecurity. So we have collected all. So there are various other certification programs which we have already recorded, and very soon we will be bringing out those programs also for you. Okay. So the highlights have been updated, as well as within each course we have added the examination module. Those students who have been going with Python programming initially, for Python programming, we have added some sessions on, some sessions were missing. Actually, sessions on dictionaries, data frames were missing. So we have added those sessions also. Along with, we have added the Microsoft examination information also here. Okay. So you all can watch it. And again, I would like to thank you all very much for being available. So Karthik is asking, sir, the video made for MTA test preparation will be helpful in evaluation tests also? Yes, they will be helping you in evaluation tests. So the questions will be based on those questions only, because the questions are common. So would be good if you can prepare that from them. And Ajit Kumar is saying, if you like coding, yeah, if you like coding, uh, yeah, if you're asking me, yeah, I like coding a lot, man. Yes, so that's my favorite. Uh, that's my favorite time when I get to code. Yeah, and as well as so we'll be doing a lot of great stuff along with these challenges, with sometimes which may come in. We will be working out on them as well. Sir, I'm also getting the same error in both brackets and FileZilla. Yeah, maybe it could be either, it could be an unwanted server issue, but I cannot trust that there would be problem with AWS. I am not very sure about it. Maybe the problem is at our end only somehow, but we generally used to do this configurations from years. So we have never landed up into a problem like that. But let's see. We will try to identify what new issue has just came in. I'm also amazed to see an issue like that, that a simple FTP was not connecting due to certain issue. So the issue is actually we are able to log in. It is trying to connect to the service, but there is certain issue with the directory listing. So what is that? I'll just work out on it. Okay. So what I asked for, learn, do we need AWS tools, or without them extreme command usage can do the job? Please provide a resource plan. Yes, definitely. I'll come up with a nice resource for you. AWS resource is very nice, which I've already shared on one-to-one. It will actually help you out with various information about AWS commands, which we generally use. As well as I'm also going to provide you a Linux-based command sheet so that you can test some basic commands over Linux and you will be comfortable with the command line also. Okay, so I'll be doing that. Um, the traditional old way of writing code and doing it manually using SSH, PowerShell, and all that, resource will learn it in that way. So, yeah, definitely. So, within our program, you will be learning all these things through command line and all that only. So, don't worry about it. Plus, I will be providing you certain resources also, which will actually drive motivation in you. And one such nice resource to, okay, I'll just share the resources with you. Yeah. Okay, so I believe all the major questions have already been sorted during our discussions today. Just one part we missed, and that is this FTP part, but definitely we'll try to come up with this part in the next session. And in the further session, we'll be taking up instead of going on to the front end, we will be designing the models and views at the server side, and we will be making all the configurations done. Okay, so stay tuned. Let's catch up. Our next session will be now on. I think we are hitting Friday today. So we are having our next session internship on Monday. Okay, so Monday 1st June, we will be having our examination actually from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So 2 days you have to prepare for Python program, and on Monday we will be having our examination. So all the participants have to be available online. So we will not be having our session on Monday, but before that, I'm going to share the video series of this file transfer connectivity so that you guys are done with that stuff and your Monday won't get wasted. So for Monday, I'm going to allot some video tasks to you, some video based tasks to you so that you guys can utilize your time in case if you are not appearing for Python. Otherwise, everybody who is available has maybe appearing for Python program on 4 to 6. So again, we will be available on the same live meeting, and on that day, I will be guiding you all with all the evaluation tests and everything, how you have to attempt it. Okay. So over the YouTube only, I will be passing the instructions, and you guys will be implementing your tests so that you all will be cleared. And on the first itself, we will be issuing the Python certifications also. Okay, those students, those who are new, maybe they have just joined in, so if they want, they can attempt the test on Monday, even if they are not able to clear it, suppose, so they can reattempt the test. That won't be a problem. Okay, so you guys will be able to reattempt the test also, and you can get the certificates after first also. That is not a problem. As well as those students who may be having certain exams or anything on first, they can attempt it after 1st June also. So the exams will be available within your cards. So guys, thank you so much for being so patient again. And how much number required for getting the certificates? So Arpit, 33% would be required, and that is like out of 50, you should get something like 20 marks. That's fine. And the paper is going to be easy. It's not going to be tough, so you don't need to worry much about it. Just if you have watched the videos, you will be easily able to score, in fact, 50 out of 50. The questions are going to be so easy. Okay, and yeah. Sir, is there any grading mentioned on certificate? No grades will be mentioned on certificates. The durations will be mentioned, and everybody will be awarded with the same position. There will be no grade information. Okay, grade information is just when we will be evaluating for the internship stuff, only for that. So will we get our own projects to work on, or just we have to do as directed by you? So both ways, Rishabh. We are actually training you on one project so that you understand each and every stuff about how everything's are connected. So that's why we are organizing this live class so that everybody gets a direction that how it has to be done. Moreover, parallelly also we can allot. We have multiple projects which we can allot, as well as once you guys are done with one sample type of projects with us, second, you are going to we are going to provide you the certificates. We are going to provide you the projects so that you can implement that on your own. And in case if you are facing any difficulties, you can speak to us. So both ways it will be available. Then Arpit is asking, evaluation तुरंत हो जाएगा? हाँ, तुरंत हो जाएगा. जैसे आप सबमिट करोगे तुरंत evaluation हो जाएगा और 6 बजे सर्टिफिकेट्स हम रिलीज कर देंगे. Okay, so instant evaluations हैं. जैसे आप submit करोगे, you'll get the scores, and we will be releasing the certificates at 6 p.m. on the same day. Any more questions, anyone? So I think I took a lot of your time today. Maybe from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's like 4 hours have been done. But I believe you guys have got some basics about how we have to get started with the designs, why AWS is important, how we actually create our instances, and once we are done with instances, we get access to the machines. So just tell me over the comments how many of you have got your AWS connectivity done. Okay. So just let me know how many of you have got your AWS connection done, so that I will also be able to understand. Yeah. So maybe many of you would have actually connected to your AWS accounts. Yeah. So, okay, that's fine, I believe. So a lot of people have already implemented on AWS, and people have got access to the shell and everything. And next, we'll continue with our practical implementations in the next session. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, Kunal, Jan, Madhura, okay, you guys have done. That's pretty great. Okay, guys, so I'm signing out of the meeting now. Let's catch up on Monday with the evaluation. Thank you so much.